Entering the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 12. Spread picks. No more Survivor. We're all out. Free money teasers. We got the odds. We got the bets. We got everything for you. Game previews presented by DraftKings. If you are betting in a state where betting is legal, bet on DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay? And if you want to play in the best tournament on DraftKings, DFS-wise, hit the description. Play in the Pat Mayo Experience Open Sunday slate. If you've missed the Thanksgiving games, you're like, where are the Thursday games? We already did a show for that. It's up on Mayo Media Network and the Pat Mayo Experience podcast feed. Please, if you're listening to the audio version, rate and review. 5 stars, please. Apple Podcasts. Scroll down, boom, hit the button. Takes 5 seconds. And if you're an audio listener, please go to YouTube and subscribe to Mayo Media Network. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to Mayo Media Network. Jeff, it really helps.
I 100% believe that it helps.
I 100% believe that you haven't done it either.
100% I have done it. Well, I have done it. We could check, documented. You could go into my accounts. But I want to say, even if it's past Thanksgiving and you feel you don't need to watch our Thanksgiving show,
Do it
it's
anyway.
like 12 minutes of football talk.
But it's 2 hours long.
So you could still, if you enjoy us, you could get, you will enjoy that and not worry about hearing stuff about the games.
True. And now that we discussed like Tua and Herbert and all that stuff on yesterday's show, maybe this show won't be 8 hours long like it normally is.
Yes.
Although you got more takes?
It's always takes. There's a lot swimming in my head.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll end up getting
It's a
to
weird
that.
place.
To what, your head?
Yeah, and what's inside,
I can
like the thoughts.
I can imagine that. The coin remains in studio, as always, behind the camera. Paul, who is going... Actually, he's not going head-to-head. He's going head-to-head with Geoff this week on the field. It's going to be a clash. But on the line, like he is, as always, the 48th member of the team, Tim Cust.
Cust.
That's not my name. Again, like I tell people, I'm like, I'm like George Wendt in Cheers. I come last.
Yeah, you're beyond last. There's spots reserved for people to come in between the coin and you.
That's fine. Doesn't bother me.
Sounds like it might bother you.
No, I'm in a good mood.
How many years has it been since you've beaten Pat in spread picks?
I beat him last year.
No, you didn't beat me last year. You beat me 2 years ago. 3 years ago. When we were doing this show out of that weird studio. So it's 7-1 for me in the 8 years of doing the show. We already recapped all the games and everything like that in the spread records on the Thanksgiving show. Jeff picked up an extra one on Monday night, along with the coin by having the Rams. Tim and I had Tampa Bay, so we fell back. So 10-3 for me, 9-4 for Jeff, 3-10 for Tim, 8-5 for the coin. Tim was bragging about how he's beaten the coin. It's only a four game difference between him and the coin at this point.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you got a lot of confidence off air off a guy off a 3-10. So let's see. I'm excited for this.
People
one.
who are listening to this, I very well likely won them a bunch of money on Thanksgiving. So this is the time to press.
This is coming out on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, but I bet you people aren't going to listen to this one until after Thanksgiving.
They might. Listen, people are traveling a lot, although some people aren't traveling. There's a lot of people who are traveling, Tim.
Some are. Most aren't.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people traveling. It's not like in a normal year, but there's a vast majority of people who are traveling here.
It's not like trains, planes, and automobiles where every airport is packed. So people have to take buses everywhere.
So there's time to kill. So you might get to both shows before Thanksgiving actually starts because you're on your way somewhere. And we're here to fill that time for you to make sure that it goes by pretty quickly. Why are you in such a good mood anyway? Is it because that guy tweeted those Coke glasses at you?
Yes, actually. The idea that McDonald's is giving out these like really cool glass Coke mugs in different colors for Christmas, like brightened my spirits. Like, I can't wait to get these. Not only will they one day be really valuable, they'll also be really cool to use. I can't wait until I can get my hands on them.
Someone's going back to McDonald's all December after being there all October and November.
I ordered McDonald's this weekend. All the McDonald's talk finally got to me. I broke down.
Of
It had been like 4 months. I was like, I need to get some McDonald's in me. And guess what showed up, Jeff? Because they make you, because I order it through the app, and I do it through the Uber Eats app, because I don't want to have to go pick it up. I want it brought to me. But you have to order a drink through the app. And I never get the drinks at McDonald's. It's just there's no real reason for it. So I had to order a root beer. I ordered a root beer for my wife, and it showed up with Monopoly stickers on it.
Wow, that's valuable. Yeah, that's just an Easter egg.
I had been texting Tim, and he hadn't been texting me back. Then I sent him a picture of that instant response.
I was like, you just found like the Holy Grail or something. Like those shouldn't be around anymore.
Especially near where you live,
to the
like
winners.
a very densely populated area of town. Like the McDonald's you would be getting from.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
In one of the busier neighborhoods, I guess it just...
Because I know where I live, they were gone before.
Did they give you enough barbecue sauces for your McNuggets?
They did, because you have an actual option on the app to order as many as, like, you can pick how many you would like.
I have something also I need to say. McDonald's in Canada, I believe, is exponentially better than McDonald's in the States.
Why?
I don't know. I think we might have different, like...
The sauces are different.
Food and drug regulations that maybe they have to, like, it's got to be a better standard. But I swear to God, and I stand by this.
Well, as Tim has pointed out before, one of his favorite things to do in different countries is go to McDonald's.
That's
the
pretty
sweet
funny.
tea that you can't get in Canada, but you can get in the United States is so amazing. And I'm so upset, and my requests have gone unanswered to have it brought to Canada, and I don't know why we can't have it.
Have
It's
you
so-
evolved beyond writing letters to the head corporation?
Well, it seems to me I should get it here if I can have it there. Like, is McDonald's like sponsored content of the show these days? We should be giving them a lot of air.
Well, I'm really trying to work it out, Tim. I'm looking out for your best interest here. I think that McDonald's should really just sponsor you. It's almost like my deal with DraftKings, where I do this show independent of DraftKings, but they pay off Pat Mayo to talk about DraftKings. Play on DraftKings. If I'm talking on someone else's show, be like, hey, you should play on DraftKings. It's part of the deal. McDonald's should do that with you.
I want those cups.
They sort of feel so evergreen that they don't need to do that with anybody other than Travis Scott.
Guess so.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Who is Travis Scott?
I don't need to explain who. He's just a very popular, I believe, rapper.
Okay.
But they released.
Do I seem like a rapman?
No, but in the States, he released his own special McDonald's combo.
Okay.
Which is kind of just, it was so weird what it was. It was just like a generic thing, but it was so popular. And then these like hipster
I like to order off menu
teenagers
when I
were
can.
harassing like the drive-through people. Not like actual harassing, but like making their stupid jokes and TikToks.
I believe
It
very
was selling
strongly
out
if you
everywhere.
can,
I don't know.
you should order off menu at a place like McDonald's. I
Hold
feel
on.
very
Yeah,
strongly.
if there's a place to order off menu, it's definitely McDonald's.
Tim, do you know who Travis Scott is?
I've heard of.
See,
him,
you're not the
but-
king of pop culture. Like, you're just done right there. Like, done. You're done.
Oh well, I see. I didn't realize that on your birth certificate it states arbiter of pop culture kings and queens. So if you've decided I'm not the king of pop culture, well, then that's it.
I
then.
swear to God,
I
put
bet you
this
Doug
out.
would know.
Put this out to any normal person
Hey.
who's with it right now,
Hey.
and they will say, not knowing Travis Scott means you cannot be a proclaimed king of pop culture. Because I
Does
want to
P-Shag
say,
know who this is.
I want to say he's the center of pop culture at the moment. This guy.
I stopped listening to
The
music in
center of
2004.
Yes.
So I'm
yes.
out of music.
Yes.
Well, Tim didn't see him on Entertainment Tonight, so
Anything this guy touches
Or
turns to
E-Talk Daily.
freaking gold right now. Like gold.
the last time I talked about rap on
And I don't
this
know
show,
anything. I don't know anything.
The last
I
time
couldn't
I
name one
talked
song.
about rap on this show, I called Wale Whale, and that was the end of me.
Yeah, I don't know one song. I don't know one song. Maybe if I heard it, I've heard it before, but I couldn't name a song or I couldn't tell you what he sings.
See, Abe Simpson was right. I used to be with it. Then they changed what it was.
It's very
What happened
true.
to you?
I'm with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you were never with it to begin with, so that's
The
where we
radio
are.
station that I listen to keep up with. Like,
Well, the fact that you're
music
listening to radio stations is probably
whatever.
Step
There's a
one.
radio station here that I listen to sort of keep up with whatever the kids are listening to these days. Has switched all to Christmas music, and now I feel like I'm at sea because I can't listen to that, and like I don't know where to turn.
Paul.
There is no way that the radio station that the kids are listening to would flip everything to
Well, look,
Christmas music.
They don't.
There's no
and
way.
I learned this only like
There's
a
no
year
way.
or so
It's like
ago.
oldies or something.
This is why, and I
happen.
said this.
I agree with
I
Tim.
mentioned this like a year ago, and this is why it's devastating that Much Music doesn't actually show music anymore. That was the whole purpose of the television channel.
That's what
The
Much
people
More
like
Music
us-
is for now. Much Music's for like South Park and
The Simpsons.
like reality
I
shows.
grew up with it being about music videos, and I wish they still had that because then I know what's cool and what's not. Like, there's no hit parade anymore to listen to. Like,
Oh.
how do I know what
What's the name of the network? I want to do some investigation here.
it's called? Much, which is
No,
what it's
no,
been
the
called
radio-
forever.
The
radio
radio
station
station
that you
that,
listen to.
all the kids listen to.
Oh, it's called C100.
That is like the old person channel.
No, it's not.
Yes,
the
it,
old
it
version. It's
absolutely
contemporary music.
is.
No, that's a contemporary music channel. No. That's where you get all.
I think I think where you're at, like Z103 is the one you want to be on.
I don't know how
The
to. find
Z103
that on this
sounds
page.
How
like
do you?
here.
If it's called Z103, how do you not know how to find
Yes,
that? On
I
your
would just
fucking
flip
radio?
through all the 103s until I find it. I swear.
There's one 103.
No, it's 103.1, 103.3,
Yeah, but it's
103.5,
103.0.
103.7. I'd have to flip through them all to find it, I guess. If that's
No,
what
I
it
think
is.
it's 103.0. They just don't need to do
There's
the
no,
point oh.
there aren't.
I
They're
think
all
it's like
odd numbers.
135.
Yeah, they're all the decimal points are all odd numbers.
Yeah, I think for FM it's odd numbers. For AM it's even
Well,
numbers.
AM there's no decimals. It's just 4 digits, right? Like 1500, 7600.
Anyway, what are you doing listening to the radio? Anyway,
When I'm cruising around, if
it's
there's
because
no
your
podcast
your car is so old it doesn't have Bluetooth, does it?
it does not have Bluetooth. It still has a cigarette lighter, which, in my opinion, if I had to choose between having a Bluetooth like a Bluetooth portal that you use to plug the Bluetooth in, or
You
a
don't
cigarette
plug
lighter,
you don't
I'm taking
plug
the
a,
I'm taking the cigarette lighter.
Tim. You don't plug the Bluetooth in.
Well, you got to stick in the thing.
Stick in what thing? It's Bluetooth. Do you not
Yeah,
know
but
how
you gotta get
Bluetooth
it-
works?
Yeah, you stick it into the port.
So
And
the
then
answer
it, like-
the answer is no. You don't know how Bluetooth works.
I thought it like you stick it into the port, and then you have like the Wi-Fi in your car, and the Bluetooth picks it up.
Tim. Maybe
Oh,
you should
something
get
like
maybe you should get with technology before you take your hand.
Well,
in.
whatever it is that
Contemporary
they replace the cigarettes-
music.
whatever they replace the cigarette lighters with, I would prefer to have the lighter.
You should see the boomers that are the radio hosts at C100. I don't want to put it up because we don't have the rights to putting their faces up, and they have no, you know.
You know what? Throw them up. I'll take the heat for this. Let's see these. I want to see these people.
Give me 1 second. I got to screenshot it.
All right, you screenshot it. Yeah.
Can I sing some songs that you don't have the copyright to that you can get sued over?
I was up. I went and got lunch in between shows today. Just a quick snack, and I noticed that turtles were out.
Does that mean
Most
holidays?
overrated Christmas candy of all time.
I love turtles. I can't buy them because I will eat the
They're
entire
good.
box. But that's
They're
usually,
good,
that's
but they're
usually-
overrated.
What do you like?
Well-
He's a quality choice.
Yeah,
right?
he likes the really like
Quality
low.
Street.
Yeah, he likes the
Quality
really low
treat.
candies
Quality
for Christmas.
street.
Quality Street is not low. It's
It's
expensive.
pretty low. It's not expensive.
It's not expensive.
It's not cheap. A tin of Quality Street is pricier than a thing of turtles is.
Yeah, and how many things do you get in a Quality Street? Like 500 chocolates?
Oh, that's a bit much.
And how many things do
Turtles
you
are
get?
fun.
Turtles are great. Oh yeah, here's Tim's with it crew.
These people look real hip. Look how he's got his arms crossed in that plaid shirt.
What do they?
Average age 53
But
years
what
old.
do they advertise the station? Be like today's hits and yesterday's classics.
No,
Like,
no, they
what's
say it's
their
like
byline.
for music or whatever. Like, I like that channel. That's how I know like what songs are kind of trending. But now with the Christmas music on there right now, who knows what's trending? And now that Much Music doesn't show the music videos, like what am I supposed to just go on YouTube and type in 2020 top hits and then
Tim,
like cycle
Tim,
through?
you have Spotify, don't you?
I don't really know how to use Spotify. I kind of have it, but I don't really know how to use it. I know people who do use it, but I don't really know how to use it.
I
get
know
kind of-
people-
What's there to know how to use? There's a search bar.
It's just like I know people that use Amazon. Like,
Tim doesn't. He
see it.
He
Like, I have an account.
Tim texts his brother to order things off Amazon
as
for him.
Tim's
And
established-
Tim's brother lives across the country.
as
He
Tim-
ordered me that shirt that Bryson was wearing on Saturday at the Masters. 'cause I
As
wanted
Tim established, he knows how to receive packages but not send them.
Yeah, I don't quite get Spy. I get confused and just click X and go to YouTube because I know how to navigate YouTube.
It's exactly the same. There's a search bar.
Well, then why can't I just use YouTube then?
Because Spotify's on your phone and it doesn't close the moment that you get out of the app.
YouTube's on my phone.
Yeah, and have you ever tried to do something else on your phone while YouTube is going?
Yes, it does. That is annoying. I agree. That is an annoying part of it. But like, whatever.
And at the same time, you can download the music off of Spotify, so you don't actually use all of your data at the same time. And video is going to use like 4 times as much of your data as
I
Spotify
don't know.
will.
I don't know how to do that.
So you don't know how to do anything, is what you're saying.
I know how to open up YouTube and listen to my music. And YouTube remembers the songs I like, so I don't have to go hunting for them.
So you just listen to the same like 5 songs over and over?
No, there's hundreds of songs that cross over.
Do you have them all on your Tim's Listen playlist, and that's where they can all be saved?
I don't have a playlist.
Why don't you? You can save
because
all
I
the
don't know
videos
how
that
to
you
set
like.
one up. That's why. I don't know how. I just know how to go into the app and type in a song or look at what's the front page and click a song and just go. That's what I know how to do. It works for me.
You know who
I don't
else?
have to.
You know who else uses the
I'm
internet
not working
like
at the Genius Bar, or I'm not working at the whatever. Like, it doesn't mean that I don't know how to navigate things.
You know who uses the internet exactly like Tim? Those hosts from C100.
I think that those
JC,
people,
Peter, and Melody.
Jay and Melody.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a risque name.
Yeah.
I think those
But
are nice
She's
people.
considerably younger than the rest of them, by the looks.
She's
of
the
it.
hip one.
Like she's not.
They
in her
sound like
60s,
really. They sound like nice people who know what's going on.
That's the morning show.
I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to have the guy with the
I gotta
funny,
see like the drive time.
you need to have the funny voice guy on the morning show, like, I'm the Baron.
Yeah,
We're
but-
coming at you right now. Here at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I-
Here's the weather and traffic updates.
I bet you the 4 to 7 guy has a soul patch.
It was cool 35 years ago. These guys.
So hip and so cool.
The guy in the middle looks like really dumb Matthew Berry.
That's not very nice. I like these people. Don't make fun of them.
Would you consider them your friends?
They're my radio friends. You know what I mean? Like, we all have radio friends or podcast friends or television friends, like people we don't meet and we probably never will meet, but you listen to them so often or see them so often that you almost kind of feel like you're friends with them, even though you know you're not. Like, that's like you can see what that concept is. I think that's a thing.
People probably feel that way about you, bud.
Yeah, exactly. People
I'm
think that
sure
they're
they, and I
friends
think
with Tim
that's
Andercust.
fine. That's fine. Just like you have Twitter friends who you never meet and will never talk to in real life, but you converse on the Twitter.
Here's the thing. If you really want to meet those people, I think I can set that up for you.
No, my point is, I think those people are cool.
Tim, you think you're cool.
I am cool.
All right, let's get into the games. We're starting off hot with Tim's team here, the New York Jumbo Jets.
God.
It's a week of home dogs, by the way. Miami at the Jets. The Jets are 7-point dogs, 44.5 is the over-under. How thrilling, Tim, would it be for you if the Jets could beat Tua? Would it be worth 1-15?
Oh, well, I want 1 in 15. I've been saying for weeks I want 1 in
But
15.
if you could have one, this has to
This
be
has
it.
to be
like
the
you
one.
had to make it like last week you thought was your best chance. And I guess you
I
really
would
not overrated, but you really got excited about Monday night versus the Patriots. But I feel like if you could have one game, like to play your absolute ceiling effort, it's got to be this one.
It would be fantastic. I mean, my only fear would be that, much like that Thursday night game against Cleveland a couple years ago, that Tua will play terribly again and have to be benched at halftime. And if that happens, well, then, Fitzpatrick could beat us in a revenge game. Like, that's my only fear, really, is not Tua. It's will they bench Tua again for poor performance and bring in a competent quarterback? That's where my head is.
What he's talking about is when Tyrod got benched at halftime in the Cleveland game and Baker came in and beat the Jets on Monday and Thursday night.
When they opened that stupid fridge that no one wanted anyway, of those Bud Lights that were terrible.
They were off a winless season, right? So it's to celebrate their first win.
Well, then they better give us a fridge full of beer.
You might,
next year.
bud. You might. Don't worry.
No, they won't. They'll give us nothing.
Because no one cares about
Give
the
us
Jets.
nothing. I'm going to take the Jets in this game, plus the 7. I think that's the play.
Do we think that
Dolphins-
do we think that Darnold is playing? Like he eventually is
No.
coming back, right?
Maybe.
Are they intentionally keeping him out now to play Flacco to be even worse than they actually are?
No, I just think that they're being super cautious with him, and I don't blame them. They're not taking the Booger approach of let's just sit Burrow for the next 2 seasons now. Like that's not quite the position.
Well,
they're taking.
listen. Booger only gets like 5 minutes of speaking time, down from his 3.5 hours from last year. That he needs to come in hot with the Booger takes.
Well, he certainly did last night. My jaw hit the ground when he said that. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Anyway, no, I just think they're being incredibly cautious with Sam for all and sundry reasons. I kind of don't think he'll play. If he does play, chalk it. We get a really good chance to win. If he doesn't play, I still think we have a decent chance, like a coin flippy, maybe slightly worse than a coin flip, but it should be close. And another outdoor game in the cold where we'll see how Tua handles it. My guess is that if he plays like he did last week, they'll have to save him again and put him on the bench.
This comes down to one of the things that the Broncos did really well was pressure the quarterback. They were able to kind of rattle Tua a little bit. They were actually, besides Melvin fumbling on the 1-yard line, Denver ran the ball really well against them. They were able to keep it that way. The Jets cannot run the ball whatsoever.
Oh, well, how dare you say that about Frank Gore?
Franco, I actually just had a discussion with Seeley on the ranking show about the Frank Gore Hall of Fame case. Now, if it was up to me, I would not put him in, but he's going to get in, so it doesn't
He'll be
matter.
on the first ballot. And you have as many rushing yards as he does. You just
Which is sickening because T.O. didn't get it on the first ballot, who was a
but T.O.'s
substantially better player.
No, he's not going to get in
Sure.
on the first ballot, but he should be a Hall of Famer.
He shouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
Gore will get in on the first ballot without question. He's going to be third
No.
all-time in rushing, fourth all-time in all-purpose yards. There's literally no argument against it.
But was he ever like at any point a top 3 running back?
That's exactly that
Yes.
is that is
Yes, he
word
was.
for word
Yes, he was.
my argument. I would
Yes,
say
he was.
no. Maybe
In
maybe
2012,
once.
2013.
Maybe once.
Maybe once, and it wasn't
With the
like he had
Niners?
already done it. You were speculating that he could get to that point.
Now, in that year that the Niners went to the Super Bowl, he was a top-tier running back, I think, or the year before that. He
was
top-tier.
never.
You mean the year that Kaepernick?
Here's the thing.
Demolished.
He
him?
never
Either
had
that
one
year or the year before.
Did he have one season that was comparable to a bad AP or a bad LT season? Who are the other Hall of Fame running backs
I put it this way.
that we've sort of seen the whole career of?
From watching the whole career, Sean Alexander was a better running back than Frank Gore was.
His ceiling, 100%. His best football was best running back in the league football.
Well, yeah, Sean Alexander won the NFL MVP
Yeah, but he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
because he had too short of a career.
But he was better than Frank
longevity
Gore.
is a quality on its onto itself.
But it isn't because he's played these extra 7 years and been really mediocre and has not helped his team.
Okay, let me ask this though: Isn't Gore? Who would you rather had, Gore or Bettis?
Bettis.
Is that unfair of me to
I
even
think
mention them together?
No, I think that's very. I think they're.
But Gore's not
somewhat
up first
comparable.
ballot. That's just no way can his ceiling football be what it is and him be worthy of a first ballot.
His 2006 season was tremendous.
If Gore's gonna get in, then Phillip Rivers just 100% deserves to get in.
And Phillip Rivers probably is going to.
But he's not going to be a first ballot.
No, but he's not going to be third all time in rushing yards and fourth.
But he's
going
to
to
be fifth all time in
yards.
passing yards because the way the league changed in his career.
Like I told you, that the Rivers argument is going to be really strong the day he retires, and it gets completely worse the day after he retires because Stafford and Ryan and all these guys will start catching
where
up to
he
him.
ranks in career numbers will be, not as.
And
high.
those guys aren't. I mean, Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers will have a comparable Hall of Fame case career, I think, by the time that Ryan ends, just because his numbers are going to look really good by the time he retires. And then Stafford's numbers are going to be even better and be like, oh, the guy who never won a playoff game? Great.
I know I used a Jamie Moyer name drop a couple weeks ago, but he's just really high end Jamie Moyer Frank Gore.
That's a good comparison.
Because he just played forever, so the stats got really high, but how
Moyer's not in though, right? Moyer's
More
not
like
in.
Omar Vizquel. More like Omar Vizquel.
I would actually say that
Okay, maybe.
his baseball comparison, because Gore is good, but he was never great. That's how I always felt about Craig Biggio. Biggio got to the 3,000 hits. He ended up getting in. He had all the hit by pitches, but he was never amazing. But he's in. So
I think Biggio, in the big picture of the league, was more valuable than Frank Gore.
Sure, but we just now know so much
And
more
baseball's
about running
honestly
back.
the only Hall of Fame that actually has real standards left, so I'm not going to call them out on anything.
No, but like there are certain benchmarks that you get to. But I'm going to call it the Baseball Hall of Fame. The best player of all time isn't in the Hall of
Okay,
Fame.
yes,
That's ridiculous.
No, I agree on that. But I just mean every Hall of Fame, but the Baseball Hall of Fame, I mean, has been diluted by players they've let in. Baseball is diluted by players they haven't let in, but I'd say every Hall of Fame has gotten to a tier where it's like become halls of very, very good instead of like halls of fame. And like hockey's the worst.
Football's pretty good.
Football keeps it tough, but they're getting bigger with numbers.
There's just a lot of football players compared to every other sport.
And listen, this is a horrible time to be making that argument because we've got 3 surefire first balloters. I think that they just announced, or like it's like Manning, Charles Woodson, some other. It's like an amazing first ballot year this
Isn't
year.
Kelvin Johnson the other guy?
Yes, Calvin and even Jared Allen. If you put
Jared
him
Allen
up
will
on,
get
You should
Like,
get in. He had
yeah,
20
like-
sacks one season.
Yeah, he also
Yeah.
sat in that tree and speared that like elk.
Yes,
That's
he
worth
did.
something.
no, yeah, and his place. I don't know. There's like advanced metrics that like show your Hall of Fame percentage, and he was really high.
Very rarely do you encounter years like that, though,
I agree.
where there's like, oh yeah, he's like you say the name, it's like yeah, Hall of Famer. I just never felt that way about Frank Gore. I feel like that's the test. When you say the name, you're like Hall of Fame, yes or no. If it's not immediate yes, the answer is no. That's how the Hall of Fame should work in my mind, but that's not how it works.
I
So-
don't think there's ever a time he was like top 3 at his position, but he was like top 10 at his position for a really long time.
I'd say top 15. Like he was a
But again,
better
quantity-
than average running back in the league. for almost
Quantity
2
is a
decades.
quality unto itself.
But it's not a Hall of Fame. Okay, I don't want to say it's not a Hall of Fame quality, but it's. I don't know, man. I like Frank Gore. This turns into this thing of me putting down Frank Gore. I think he's an incredible player, incredible story, incredible Miami Hurricane, the whole thing.
There are just so many other running backs during the course of his career that I would have rather had on my team. That's not a good look for a Hall of Famer.
Like, what was his highest ADP?
Like fantasy wise?
Yeah.
He was a first rounder for ages.
But what was the highest point?
Was he ever the first pick? I don't
Never.
think so.
Was he ever the third pick? Probably not either.
Maybe.
Maybe like I'm saying his best year, what was his lowest ADP?
To me, in my mind, he's just better Thomas Jones.
Well, that's not fair either.
Thomas Jones he had the best workout routine there was. He was able to play to very late in his life. Former Jet Tim. Let's get back to the Jets and your boy
Yeah,
Frank
he had
Gore.
the AFC rushing title the year the Jets had him last. So he was a good rusher to the end.
I just think the Jets' inability to run the ball in this game is going to be really problematic because Tim's most hated player in football besides Tua, Xavier Howard, who he deems sucks, is going to take someone out. So then it's just a whole lot of Crowder. Can't run the ball too much. Maybe Mims can get behind them or Perriman, whichever one's like on with Byron Jones. But this is such a get right spot for Tua. Like, he was benched last week. They're going to go out of their way. Gaskin could be back for this game as well. The Jets are horrible. They make everyone look good. So if you're dealing with Miami, who does have a better defense than the Chargers do, at least right at this moment, that it doesn't seem like they're going to give
and
up.
it sets up better for the Jets' strengths on offense.
Yes.
Which is just up Kamalu, the Eskimo student.
But then you got to lay 7 in the division on the road. And do you really want to do that?
I'm
Yes.
going to lay the 7. And there's a couple of reasons why. If the Chargers had a median coach, they win by double digits. There's no reason for me to think Flores won't, though they just can't do it. There's just no reason for me to think. I didn't see much redeeming about the Jets. I like that they could go over the top. I think it sets up well for them having the draft pick and having a nice stable of receivers. I think all this talk that Darnold wouldn't want to play there is hogwash. Anyone that wants to bet me to the moon that if the Jets have the pick, Lawrence wouldn't want to play there, I would take any money that there's not a chance in hell he turns them down.
Yeah, but isn't it better for the show if he refuses to play for the Jets and pulls an Eli Manning on the Jets?
I agree, but people have not a clue.
I would not
'cause
hold
it's
a
not,
grudge.
It's
I
not
would
Adam.
not
No,
hold
of
a
course you
grudge.
wouldn't hold a grudge.
It's not Adam Gase's
I'd wish him
team.
the best of
What
luck.
are their other options? He's going to go to Jacksonville. He wants to be a Washington. I guess I got to pay the fine.
You gotta pay the
under
fine.
Dan Snyder. Like, you go to the New York Jets, who are actually set up, in my opinion, way better than the Bengals, because I think they'll get a good coach that maybe Lawrence's agent will like have to give a thumbs up approval on, which I don't even think is a bad thing.
I think if you start running your organization like that, you've already lost.
Okay, probably. But they're going to have 2 first round.
Yeah, but we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
They've got some nice offensive weapons. They got a good left tackle, so you hope you could keep the kid alive. They got 3 picks in the top 33, assuming they get first overall next year. I don't think it's nearly as they freaking suck, but I don't think the situation is as doom and gloom once they get that pick. I think they're set up way better than some teams that have had it in the past.
Oh, here we go. I knew it. Yes, that's right. You're right.
What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not even
making my case for me. You're making my case for me.
Now, that being said, this Dolphins
2021, 2022 could be special seasons.
No, not 2021. Not 2021.
You got it back on special seasons. You said something that the Jets aren't the worst team of all time, and now he's taking that 16-0
They have
next
the worst coach, along with the Chargers coach. Now, for this week, I'm picking the Dolphins to get that number, to get a lead, and to not allow the backdoor sort of stuff. And Tim, that backdoor never should have happened on a couple reasons, because I don't believe that was a good call on the Bosa strip sack, which I think someone took into the end zone, and the 4th and 5 that my coach is too stupid to challenge, that I don't think Mims caught the ball. Even Gannon, who's a horrible broadcaster, Mims was bobbling a 4th down on that final drive. I don't know if it was the final drive, but the drive
where they
scored. It was. No, when they were down.
They scored to end up covering.
No, we got the ball back.
And then had to take the safety.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. So there's that.
Also, I mentioned that to you off air yesterday, but we didn't say it on the show. If you're Tai Long, one of the 5 best punters of all time, Tylon, and Tylon, why don't you run to the other end of the end zone and kill the entire clock?
Yeah, why
just stand there like a goober and the Jets kind of laid him out.
But you're going to get laid out anyway. So take that extra second off the clock in getting laid out. If you're going to get laid out anyway, take that extra second, run around.
Yeah, if the move is I'm here in the entire end zone is like this, let's say, and I'm Tai Long and I just run to here and stop and get wiped out, why not just do that?
Yeah.
And then the clock's not.
Once they get to a certain point, just just sprint that way.
Has Tai Long never played a video game before?
I don't know. That was annoying, but this is all I got to say. I demand to be given opportunities to make big plays.
This has to be a showcase game for him.
Because
I agree.
The Jets suck. Everyone on that secondary can be attacked. If they got a clue, Changeli, Flores, you start them off, you roll it out. You do some nakeds, but by some point, I gotta see air cut. If he brings the short underneath butter knife to this one, we got a real problem. You could win by 30. You bring a butter knife in this one, you may as well lose the game. I don't care the win. You can have your wild card weekend with your future butter knife. I need to see air cutting versus the Jets. They give up 110 QB rating versus everybody.
Paul.
Since we started the show, Jets play Sam Ficken and LaMichael Pirine on the IR.
Tim, they from carried off the field against these very same Dolphins to too scared to play them the next year.
Now
to be fair, Ficken was in just for the week because we've had a kicker who's actually been dynamite who missed last week for injuries. Anyway, this is too much time with this.
I'm picking the Dolphins, so I expect that air to get cut.
Another question about the Tai Long thing, just running it back in my mind. If that's what you're going to do, and you know that you're going to do it, why do you put your punter out there? If the move is just to take a safety, and
he's used to receive because he's the only one used to receiving long distance snaps.
These are professional.
So he's the guy you want
receiver out there.
No. You actually 100%. You want the punter.
I disagree because if the punter gets hurt, he's really hard to replace.
At the end of the game, you can sign a new punter off the
sure, but you can also go put a hands team receiver out there as well.
No, I don't agree.
He's also faster. He can actually take a hit. He's less likely to get hurt.
Can't he be back there and take a handoff?
I suppose that could work too.
If you think that guy's the better receiver.
I think he's less likely to get hurt.
Yeah, I guess, but Tim is saying the punter's a better receiver of a snap.
Of the long snaps, he's the one who does it. He does it every single time. He's used to receiving those super long
receivers
snaps.
catch balls.
It is a ball that is coming to you that you catch right here.
So let's just have somebody play out of position.
No,
rather than
I don't
somebody
disagree, but I would dispute that Ty Long has better hands than.
I didn't say better. I just said he's used to it. So why switch up what works? Tell your offensive lineman to hold too, because you don't care if there's a penalty.
That's actually a good point. So
Yes, and going farther back wouldn't be. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to say one
Because
more.
the game can end on an offensive
thing,
penalty, so you don't
but-
care how many times you hold.
This is a league where I mean, the other teams that have played Denver, have they really had that hard of a time, like making plays?
the Patriots did.
No, they
Patriots
just didn't
did.
score touchdowns. They
Jet-
got in the red zone all day.
The Jets also had quite the time with the Broncos. Remember Cal Ripken beat them?
Chargers were up like 3 touchdowns. The
And lost to
quarter
them.
left.
Broncos beating everyone's favorite teams, it seems.
I just mean, like, what did they do? They made Tua make real NFL throws to the outside.
Well, but that's a challenge for him.
And Darnold's too
God
scared.
forbid. I mean,
Darnold
what
was
am I
too
looking at? A
scared to play
system
him.
quarterback?
Hmm?
I didn't say anything.
You just said he's a system quarterback.
No, I said, am I looking at one?
Which is what you're implying is that he is a system quarterback.
Well, he may be.
I don't know if everything's got to revolve around boots and nakeds and this and let him make plays. That's not good. That's not like worth tanking for. I think he's a fine pro. But it's been 4 games.
He's 4-0.
It's been 4 games. And I just want to see a play or two that's like, that is what we tank for. Because I'll just put it out there. Every other quarterback that you think is really good and that you like, that's young in the NFL, I swear to God, Pat, in their first 4 games, whether they won or lost and whether they threw 6 interceptions, you saw like 2 or 3 or 5 plays that were like, holy shit. Even like Josh Allen, through all the bad, there were like a couple really early plays that were like, whoa, ceiling.
Now he's the best of the bunch.
So that's all. That's all. I'm not. You don't have to. I don't have to win. I'm not like. I just want to see 1 or 2 ceiling effing plays that every other quarterback that's turned out to be good gave us in their first month of the league. But
You're a hater. Just you have so many Dolphins people in your life, and you're clearly just trying to throw dirt on them. We know what you're doing.
So do I.
Yeah, but people know what you're always doing.
What do you mean? I'm speaking the truth. Tua's like, okay.
That's
At
not
best.
that's actually a step up for you that he's okay.
He's okay. He's okay in the same way that, like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like Daddy bought me a car. He said, "Here's a car. You can drive it." And then it started raining. Daddy said, "No, you're not touching the car. I'm driving.
Not comfortable
I'm driving
driving
to
in the rain.
grandma's.
Better come home.
Yeah, we don't feel, and that's real weird because you should just be winning or losing. Crash it. I don't mean hurt it, but I just mean crash it. Who cares?
See, I am under the impression that Flores is a good coach.
He is a great coach.
So maybe this
Yes,
is a
he is.
maybe this is a motivational
no, this was
tactic for him.
this was a lapse of judgment in the moment.
According
He
to you,
really-
maybe he has a plan.
No,
he doesn't have a plan. He's just making decisions that
no. They've got a plan and
we should let Geoff Fienberg be the coach then.
they got a plan and they got a program, and it's a good one and it's on track. My point being is, in my opinion, I believe in the moment, in the heat of an NFL contest, he got all consumed with trying to win the football game. And that's a fair thing for a head coach. But they're creating a really weird thing now. Because what happens next time? It won't be this week versus the Jets, but a defensive coordinator that can force him to make real throws outside to the numbers are going to just copy what Fangio did. There's teams with that personnel. Like like they're going to ask him to do that.
Yeah,
So-
when they play a real team like Buffalo, Buffalo is just going to suffocate them.
Oh, ball.
Stop it, Tim.
No, but a team that has the personnel and has a coach like Sean McDermott might, but the Bills are second worst, I think, in pass defense or something at the moment.
Yeah,
so,
teams just don't throw towards Tre'Davious White, and then no one else can cover.
so I
anyone.
don't know that Buffalo's an ideal example, but it's not like there's some gang-breaking personnel on Denver, but they're going to copy the Fangio schemes until he shows he can beat it, and then they'll find a new way to stop him. Clearly.
All right, I think like 25 minutes was good enough for Miami and New York.
I think he's a good professional quarterback.
You just don't like him. I get it.
No, you don't.
You
I
don't. You don't think. Just say you don't think that he's good.
None of us
That's
think
okay.
that.
That is okay.
How
That
could you not? How could you not want him to succeed?
I want him
That's
to
a separate
succeed.
question. Maybe
You just
he'll
don't think he's
succeed.
good.
I think he's
Maybe I'll
fine.
You
sprout
don't
wings
think
and
that he's
fly.
good. Just say it.
I haven't seen ceiling yet to even know. And
I
then
agree.
pulling him concerns me because you got to just be all in or not on live and dying with mistakes. Mistakes are good. Him making mistakes and struggling are part of the reason he's playing this year, in my opinion. I am so against what they did last week. It makes zero sense to me.
Imagine if we combine the two. That you have Herbert's skill set on Tua and
To
like
his skin, what?
no Tua's ability to like win and be a winner into Herbert.
We need a culture shock in many ways.
I mean, it's
And
easy to never
Flores
lose a
did that.
game when your coach pulls you at halftime of every game you're losing.
4-0.
And he
never
lets
lose.
you take fourth quarter snaps up 30. You get the win in
Get the
Mayo's
win.
and
Yeah, exactly.
in Mayo's book. Flores is a great coach, and they're running a great program there. But if you don't think for a second there's second doubts in Chris Greer's sleep, then you're a fool.
Miami for the two of us and the coin. Tim is taking the Jets. Vegas and Atlanta. I said this on yesterday's show. Give me the number. This is lower than I thought it was going to be. Vegas. Atlanta without Julio is god-awful.
People love betting Atlanta.
Like you bet them every week.
But isn't this
But
a
I
team
like
that
the
can
Raiders a
bully
lot
them?
too.
Like, isn't this
The Raiders?
the perfect opponent that we speak about?
Yeah, I really think that the Raiders are really set up to beat Atlanta at full strength, and they're not going to be full strength.
But just bully them, right?
Also, Atlanta's a 3-point dog in this game. 55.5 is the over-under. I like the Raiders and the under.
I like the team that's going to, if you can bully Atlanta at the offensive line,
And defensive line.
it's really hard to lose the game.
Coin likes Vegas too.
I gotta take Vegas, but this one feels trappy and fishy because Vegas in losing a game, doing that versus KC like is a win in the Gen Pop.
I agree, but people, like Tim said, people like betting Atlanta. They just love it.
But people got real burned by Atlanta because people were like,
Yeah, yeah,
Taysom Hill and
yeah,
so
but,
there's
you know,
there might be a sting.
That was a game in Atlanta or in New Orleans last week. Now they're at home. Fast track. Although it's now it's a dome team going on the road, Tim. The Vegas has
The Raiders are a dome team going on the road. I love it. And another reason to take Oakland or Las Vegas. Sorry, I love it.
So we're all on Vegas here? That's never good.
Real bad. This feels like such a stinky game, but I could make it my super lock.
I'm thinking about
I
making
will
it my
not be
Super Bowl.
going that. I will not be going.
I thought this was going to be like 6.
No, they can't because people will just say, I love people like the Falcons, particularly at home. People will bet them.
I mean, we got a handful of West Coast playing East early here, and Atlanta's the first. I mean, the Vegas is the first one. There's a handful of them in the early.
No, I totally forgot about that. Oh, now I don't love it as much. Still, I'm taking Vegas. It's a round of Vegas, coin included. The next one of these games,
Real
Arizona.
demoralizing loss, though.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Arizona at New England. New England 2-point underdogs at home, 49.5. The over-under. Kyler is expected to play. He's not going to practice all week, though. Hurt his shoulder. Same injury as Sam Darnold, except Sam Darnold's dead, and Kyler Murray's going to play. So, nice, tough guy you got a quarterback there, Tim. Can you make a case for New England for me?
I love the Patriots in this game.
Okay,
Teasing them up too.
I will take Arizona then. Excellent.
Teasing them up by 6 points. I love New England in this game.
Why?
This is a classic spot. The whole world is off New England now because they lost that game. Arizona, well, they lost on Thursday coming off the anyway. People still really like Arizona. People respect Arizona a lot. New England is a short dog at home. You don't get them as dogs at home very often. The Patriots have a way of compressing games into low-scoring sort of fights and having an opportunity one way or the other at the end to sort of get things done. And I don't like the Cardinals playing early all the way across the country in what's projected to be relatively chilly weather. I'm looking at the forecast here. It's supposed to be 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I don't know what that means. I suspect that means like 7 degrees Celsius. I don't know. But it's not balmy, not warm. Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots here. Patriots on the short list for Superlock. I think it's a perfect home dog spot for them. I think the world will be on the on the Cardinals, and I think you want to be on New England here.
I do agree Arizona will be popular, but I will be on Arizona. You just saw what Watson did to this like really bad spot Patriots secondary this week. He also like ran for 40.
That's the big thing
But
too.
Watson's a better quarterback.
Yeah, but Kyler's a better runner than Deshaun is.
Even
And
if
Deshaun
he-
was
But
just
he's not a better player.
every single time that they needed a third down and they brought pressure, Deshaun just eluded one guy and ran for a first down.
Yeah, I think the Arizona will have no problem doing that, winning, covering. I mean, Arizona can screw you, but I'm not worried.
Give me Kyler against Cam.
I'm not worried here. They had extra time.
They are coming off the extendo buy, the mini buy. Patriots just look all out of sorts.
Yeah, but I think they get it right this week.
Okay. Giants at Cincinnati.
Ugh.
5.5. The Bengals are underdogs at home. 42.5 is the over-under. Giants are 7-3 against the spread.
The Giants are not bad.
They aren't, but Washington's going to win that division.
Probably not. The Giants are a better football team. I don't know.
This is the game that really smells to me. I'm going to take Cincinnati. It's too fishy. I have yet to hear a person, almost like Tim said, everyone's going to be on Arizona. Everyone's going to be on the Raiders. Every single, look at fantasy rankings, early betting previews. Get on the Giants number now. You got to pick up Daniel Jones. You got to pick up the Giants defense.
Giants D, yeah.
And I'm guilty of it too. They're my number one defense this week. It all logically makes sense. From a betting perspective, something feels off to me about this. I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Me too, but I wouldn't touch it with a bet. I just will take the Bengals and be on my way. I respect the Giants a lot, actually, but this is a trap game, and I can see it coming.
I hate when we all feel the same way. So maybe as the week goes, people will align with us, or we'll really end up alone here on the Bengals.
A lot is being.
I think they'll be. I don't know. I think they got a lot of playmakers. Just get the ball out of your hands. Giants off a bye, off a win, I think are being a little overhyped. Add in the backup quarterback.
And now everyone thinks they're going to win the NFC East. They're getting their tires pumped a little bit here. Just Philly has looked so bad. No one believes in Washington. No one believes in Dallas. The Giants brought Tampa Bay to the brink. They almost beat the Bears. But asking them to win by 5.5 points is a whole lot different than the reason that they're covering all these games is because they're 5.5 point dogs every single week. I can see them winning the game by 3. And a lot is being baked into Ryan Finley, where
Finley,
former WCW television champion. Did you remember?
Swoggles, buddy.
Do you remember the Booker T versus Chris Benoit best of 7 series?
I should, but I don't.
It was a lot of Saturday main event type stuff, but they had a best of 7 series. Booker T ended up winning, but it wasn't for any sort of belt. It was to face Fit Finley for the television title in WCW. I vividly remember this. It was always up my dad's on Saturdays. He used to watch those clips. But people remember Ryan Finley from last week, and he was just kind of a disaster. But it's a short week. I mean, the Bengals have no protection, and Washington can get after the quarterback pretty easily. Then they remember Ryan Finley from last year, and he also wasn't very good. But he only had Tyler Boyd last year. Now they have A.J. Green and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Gio is capable out of the backfield. He can block a bit. I don't think the perception that we have of Ryan Finley is that he's really, truly horrible. And he might be bad, but I don't think he's quite as bad as the vision that people have in their minds about him.
My vision.
So I'm going to take Cincinnati. That's the reason why. I think they can lose by 3 here.
I think that's I think you will not hear, folks, a better breakdown of that game than you just heard.
Oh, Tim.
I don't say that very often. I think that's perfect.
This is going to come back to bite me now when they lose by 48 points. But thank you for your support.
No, you're welcome. But no, it won't. 'Cause it was the Bengals and Giants, and no one will care to even look back at it.
Cleveland and Jacksonville. 6.5 point dogs. The Jags are at home. 49 is the over-under. Not quite sure who's starting at quarterback for Jacksonville.
I assume without looking that it'll be a monsoon in Jacksonville. Oh, look, it's supposed to rain in Jacksonville on Sunday. What a shock.
There's going to be
what a shock.
There's going
I love the under of 49. Don't go near that over.
There's going to be a week on DraftKings at some point towards the end of the season. Like, I'm thinking about just playing Baker Mayfield every single week at this point. Because it's just through the law of averages where they're just playing in these horrendous conditions over and over and over that he's going to have like everyone, no one wants to use him. He's like 0.2% owned. Everyone just assumes he sucks now, and he might suck, but he's going to have one of these huge blow up games coming soon. And they're using receivers. I don't even fucking know their names anymore. Their lead guy, Hodge, apparently he's good, goes down the field. But shouldn't Cleveland just be able to run the ball down their throats here?
That's what I'm banking on.
Denzel Ward's not going to play, though. I'm actually going to take Jacksonville to cover the 6.5 because the Browns are
I'm going to take the Browns, and I'm going to tease the Browns down. But I will not be shocked if the Browns lose this game because the Browns are a stupid team, and stupid teams manage to lose these types of games on the road. So, if you've got a bunch of 3-team moneyline parlays or whatever, like just avoid the Browns. You can tease them down to a pick 'em. I think that's a much safer play, but don't. Anyway, just be more careful.
I would actually go the other way. I think this is a backdoor cover for the Jags, a lot like the Jets were against the Chargers last week. Like the Browns they almost let Philly do it to them last week. Like they were in no danger of losing that game, yet Philly almost came back from like 12 and covered the spread with like 50 seconds left somehow. But Jacksonville with the defense banged up a bit. No Garrett, probably no Denzel Ward. DJ Chark is still a big play guy. So is Keelan Cole. Like they have the ability to score very quickly every third week. Once that pass can actually be completed. James Robinson's keeping it going on the ground. Cleveland has been the king of beating this type of team this year, though. This is who they beat. I actually wouldn't be scared of them on the money line.
Jacksonville's not winning this game. I like Cleveland. I'm not so worried about the backdoor cover because I don't think much of Luton.
Vladimir Luton?
Just run the ball. Just run the ball.
Yeah, but that's what becomes problematic. That if you continuously run the ball, it's like the Patriots thing. Like if the Patriots spread was bigger, I would like teasing the Patriots up to +8. It's not for me, but I think that makes a lot more sense because the Patriots are so slow. They run more than anyone, and their like pass versus run expectation is heavily swung towards run, where someone like the Steelers heavily swing towards pass. That it just takes a lot of the air out of the ball, keeps the clock grinding. There's no stoppages in the clock. That they'll win, but the game will always be there to be covered backdoor for them. Like they don't jump out to like a 40-point lead. So that'd be my case for Jacksonville. Chargers and Buffalo. Paul, how you feeling?
Boys are well rested. Chargers are not well rested. 5.5 points is a lot of points, but go Bills. Minus 5.5. Let's go.
Coin likes Buffalo. They're a 5.5-point favorite zone. 53.5 is the over-under. This seems like a really good spot to play the Chargers. Them as like 6-point dogs, 5-point dogs are definitely games that they generally cover, isn't it?
I do agree. I'm trying to see if we've put out an injury report at our time on the East Coast. We usually don't have it.
It appears like Eckler will be activated but not play. That's at least the initial report from a Tuesday evening.
Yeah, sorry, I got my days mixed up. We wouldn't get one today. Just really curious because Eckler and Chris Harris I'd like to see back.
You gotta shut down Cole Beasley. The Bees!
On that note...
Not the Bees!
On that note, I'm incredibly concerned about the secondary options in Buffalo really taking us to school. Beasley, John Brown, if he does play.
Gabe Davis.
Yeah, those types of guys. I feel like that's who we've really had trouble against.
Aren't you going to have some trouble against Stefan Diggs?
Oh, yeah, no, that's obviously.
That's just a given?
Yeah, that's a given. And like you expect that. But it's like when you're really just taking like death by 1,000 cuts with the other guys, I feel. It's easy to just connect, like A plus B sometimes does equal C. So I know people that have said to me, I'm not trying to rhyme everything, that they like Buffalo simply like Flacco put up 26 points, although there was a block punt. Well, it wasn't for a touchdown, but
the Chargers have the worst special teams in football.
We're the worst. The absolute worst. It's more embarrassing by the week. But if you just said to me, like, Flacco made it rain on the Chargers, I'll just take Josh Allen, too. Like, they just gave up 26 to the Jets. So Buffalo
But the issue with Buffalo, and we've seen it all year long.
So it's around a Buffalo, is it?
I haven't made
hold
a pick.
on. I haven't finished.
There is no way Geoff picks Buffalo.
Well, no, this is a bad spot for the Chargers, and that's a bad number.
But
for
we're
the Chargers.
playing. It's a bad spot in the sense that it's a second game in the row versus a team off a bye.
And going to the
Yes.
East Coast.
Going to the East Coast versus a very good coach and a good quarterback. So now we have a good quarterback and a good coach off a bye. I like McDermott.
Yeah.
Secret
At
coach of
7
the year, but won't get a vote.
Sure,
At
but
7 or 7.5, you could take the Chargers. You can't take him at 5.5.
I don't think there's that big of a difference between
that
those two
being
when it comes to
said,
the Chargers.
those secondary numbers and passing against the Bills, good quarterbacks have really been able to do it. Justin Herbert, by any metric, I guess now, at least in this window, is
Justin Pervert.
a good quarterback. So I think we will get ours. But it should be a tough spot for me to say, well, when I believe we will cover. It's unfortunate, as we spoke about on the Thanksgiving show, that I'm, because of the world we're in.
Yeah, we said that the COVID has been hardest on you.
Yes, because I can't go see this game. I would love. It's supposed to be a nice. We're the USA folk, 50-degree Sunday afternoon.
It is going to be nice on Sunday here. Yeah.
So it's supposed to be a nice day, but I'd love to see Justin just cut some Western New York air, which we know is a little thicker than most places, Patrick.
Well, we blow all the smog and push it down that way.
Yes, but it's fortunate because I'd hate to go to the game and be down by 10 points in the second half and have Tyrod come in. That would be real unfortunate if Lynn chose to do that in a tough environment because McDermott is just stifling us, which is very possible.
No,
I'd hate to see that.
The problem with the Bills defense is that I think on
Who are you laughing at?
I think on paper
No,
it's quite
nothing.
good. Their issue is that they're really bad when they jump out. They're a lot like the Chargers when they get big leads.
Because they can't run to put the game away.
They just don't know what to do. And everything that they do well is like, we're going to play up tempo. We're going to pass over expectation and not run. And then they get up, they're like, oh, I guess we have to run out the clock. And like, they can't run.
You see this like watching college football a lot. These teams that play fast, now they're up like 21. It's the middle of the third quarter.
They don't know what to do.
The coach don't know what to do. Then they like run this play on first down. Then all of a sudden it's 2nd and 14. And then they're back to passing and it's 3rd and 14. It's like, whoa. Yeah, you are not wrong. We're seeing this, and that's probably becoming more common in the NFL. The way just teams are kind of changing, and game management.
Well, there are two
seems
teams
to be a total lost art by even good coaches, let alone bad ones.
Well, they feel, and a lot of it has to do with, I mean, the analytics thing. It's funny because on this show, when we talk about analytics, the three of us are, I wouldn't say analytics people. We're very aware.
I know DVOA.
We're very aware. There's a middle ground between people who put everything like they're.
Yes,
How can I explain
agree.
this? There are people that's entire. You know how like people have personas where I hate Donald Trump, and like that's the only thing like their personality trait is that they hate Trump.
Yeah.
So if Trump's not president, I don't know what the fuck these people do.
I'm sure they'll find a new grift.
Sure, but there are analytics people who their only thing in life seems to be I'm pro analytics, and if you're not, like you're the biggest fucking moron on the planet. And then you have the other side of the coin too. I feel like we come in somewhere in the middle as people who I understand analytics pretty well. I don't think that they're the end all be all because I think there are certain things that you cannot quantify when you have 11 people going at 11 people in 11 separate directions. That's just really tough. It gives you a good inside edge to thing, but I think that there's either a resistance to look at what actually works in the situation. The two teams that I can remember doing this the best, the current Chiefs do it, where they never fall into the trap of having to run the ball. They just keep passing. And that Arizona team with Kurt Warner that went to the Super Bowl, they did exactly the same thing. They might try to run it on first down, but they're like, you know what? We complete passes at like a 78% rate. And we have routes that are probably like 90% completion percentage. That we're just going to run that. And the other team's just expecting us to run. We'll run out the clock and gain yardage and have the ability to pile up chunk plays too if just one missed tackle happens. Like that's the way to kill out these games. And there's some teams that embrace analytics, but they don't want to go all the way. That would be the part of it that I would start to embrace because there's going to be like the extra 2% when it comes like just having analytics isn't good enough anymore because everyone has the same numbers. Now you need to choose like, oh, no one's really paying attention to this part of it. That's what we should be paying a part of it to until teams actually adjust to that.
You're 100% right. And these teams that go out of their shells, all of a sudden they're asked to run X amount of times and the great pass blocking linemen end up like taking holding calls and run protection schemes, and it just takes one to sort of kill a possession that makes you turn it back. The thing I say about analytics to me, and I'm not smart enough, but I respect it so much and see how much it plays and see the success teams in all sports that embraced it early clearly had. And see the detriments that it's had on a team like the one I cheer for that seemed to have been a later adopter.
Or if they still haven't.
No, we're getting there.
Just all that people need to do to get over the
I was on mute.
stigma of analytics is stop calling it analytics and call it fucking information.
Yeah, and
I want more information. Okay, good.
And I would explain it if I ran a team, or I would want my favorite team, or how I like to see it. I'm probably saying the word wrong, but it's one of those like fetish marriages. It's like polygamy, where like you're married to two people.
Mm-hmm.
And some nights we're going to all sleep together.
Just like my guy Cody on Sister Wives.
Sure. And sometimes two
how
of
we got all
us
these
are going to
wives.
play, and sometimes the two of you are going to play, and sometimes me and you are going to sleep together. It's all got to work, and there's all got to be some symmetry. And sometimes me and them are just going to have our
No,
night.
that never
And
works. That's the reason that's illegal.
By the way, that's not polygamy. What you're talking about is a polyamorous relationship.
Oh yeah, see, that's what I'm talking. Like we all got to blend. But I still believe
polygamy is illegal.
I still
That's
believe
Not
things,
in Utah, is it?
Shit.
It
You were
is
setting me
illegal.
up to still be
It
embarrassed.
is
Thank
illegal.
you, Tim.
It's illegal everywhere.
Thank you, Tim, because those are two big differences. Yeah. I thank you for correcting me. What I want to say is I still believe in the big game. And I know this went back to the World Series and that shit. I still believe in outlier performances and losing the numbers. You can invite me out on a Saturday night to the bar. I might not show up. I'll come. I'll be a bore. Not all Saturday nights are the same. You put me in Vegas and I will outperform the meme. Like I'm a big game performer.
Okay.
Like I'm a big game
I'm just
hunter.
saying, not every Saturday night is the same. Not every game is the same, and the numbers lose a lot of it. But I don't want to lose the numbers. I want to sleep with everybody, and I wish I had a say in what happened in the teams I care about. But not that I would give my opinion. I would just make sure that there are people way smarter than me there to give their opinion.
Yeah, and the person that ultimately the decision comes down to, it's like being a CEO of a company. When you're the head coach, it comes down on you. Even if you pass everything off to your offensive coordinator, you are there to interpret, again, let's call it information. It's numbers that are giving you this information, but you also have to draw on your experience from playing and being a coach and being around these guys to know who to put in the right position and not. So you have to interpret that data and then make an actual real life personnel decision about what happens. And 100% of the time, the numbers are not going to be right. We know that. And just because the personality and just gut feeling type thing is unquantifiable doesn't mean it also doesn't exist at the same time. It's just you can't interpret that into data.
I'm going to double on my 11 versus the dealer's 4 at the blackjack table.
You should do that. The numbers would tell you to do that.
I know, but that doesn't mean I'm going to win. I could get roached. I could pull the 3 and they could pull a 7 and then a 6. But I'm
it's like
going to
splitting
take
splitting your 8s against a 7. You're supposed to do it.
I'm just saying I'm going to do it, but
I
there's
just feel
still
like you
outs
get burned more
for the
often than you
other
don't.
side. It doesn't mean I made the wrong decision. Yeah, I agree with all of it.
But additionally, just one last thing on that topic is that you're only ever making results and concluding whether this was right or whether this was wrong based on a very micro sample of one thing happening. That's how people make their determinations on this. So to go back to the World Series thing, they took out Blake Snell, right, for the third time around?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That if somehow, like when you're looking at the numbers and running it through, you're running like 1,000 simulations, 10,000 simulations. And it's not 100%, but you're just now dealing with one outcome.
One outcome.
So if we actually had that situation 100 times, it might have worked 78
But
times.
one
but it
outcome-
didn't in the one that you watched. So therefore, it all has to be categorically wrong.
But one outcome, it just comes down to like this game is an outlier in those simulations. As much as the math guys will say there's no such thing, I believe.
But I actually believe in the math on that one. Is that there is no outlier. Just everything falls in the range of outcomes.
But then there's no
And
outlier in a lot of this other stuff.
and-
This
and
team is 4 for
sometime-
7 on fourth down.
and
That's
sometime-
7 samples.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, fourth down, like you should go for it, but the samples are like low.
Yeah, but I don't understand what your point is here.
I'm just saying, not all situations are the same.
No, and
Jeff's
the-
right.
That's
And
like
sometimes
saying
you- and
every. That's
sometimes
like
you have
saying
to
every
know what the
pitch
numbers
is
are.
like Tuesday
Trust
in
your gut
June.
anyway.
but that's not what the numbers are actually. When you run these simulations, it's going to give you a range of outcomes of different probable outcomes. So what is the most probabilistic outcome? It's not 100%. So the outcomes that you're talking about, the ones that don't work, are also factored in. It's just when you run through everything and run through these simulations, is that sometimes the actual outcome in real life is one of the lower end probabilities.
Okay, but if my
Agreed,
job's on
always.
the line, my job is on the line. And I use this stuff and I think it's important and I base a lot of my decisions on it. In the end, it's not the analytics that are going to get fired if I make the wrong call. I got it in a few instances when the rubber meets the road. If I am not being paid for my judgment and being paid to trust my gut in a circumstance, even if it doesn't jibe with the numbers, then why am I even there? You might as well just have a machine do my job for me.
I don't think that's what I don't think that's what we're, at least that's not what I'm trying to say with this.
I don't think you are, but there are people who would say if it says 68%, you just do it because you have to do it because you're a caveman otherwise. But like
I agree with 68%
also
doing that every time.
There's
no,
way
no,
higher
but
than a
I
lot
think
of-
that, I think that there are certain things that, and this is where it gets completely different. When you hire a coach, and we're going to see this more in the future, regardless of the sport, that whoever the coaching hire is, or whoever has the decision-making capability for in-game, real-time situations, is going to have to be someone who is well versed in what the actual probabilities of these things are. And then, as Tim is saying, it's up to the discretion of that person of whether to do it or not. Now, most of the time, I would suggest that if something is 68% to do it, you do it.
I made a
But there are
joke.
going to be certain times. It was like we talked about. There was a situation on the show that we talked about ages ago, and you guys hated it. And I think it actually turned out before we knew all the 2-point probabilities. Remember, Carolina went for 2 to win a game like 2 years
Sure.
ago. I think
Riverboat,
it was
yeah.
against something, and it was like, oh, it's Riverboat Ron. He's doing whatever, but. He could have kicked the field goal. He could have went to overtime. But sometimes if you're a coach and you've been watching the game for 60 minutes, that you know that there is a play that is going to work in this situation. Yeah. He ran the play that worked, and Greg Olsen dropped the ball with no one around him. So it was a bad idea to go for it. No, you ran the perfect play. It worked. But now everyone's killing the guy because he went for 2.
And a big game clutch guy was the guy that dropped it also. Not like you designed it to
an offensive lineman.
Who did that this week? Maybe that was college.
I can assure you if it happened in college, I did not see it.
I saw a real funny, embarrassing 2-point conversion. I agree with everything that was said.
I'm taking the Chargers because either the Bills are going to get up big and the Chargers come back and make it like kind of close and lose in a devastating fashion, or the Chargers are going to jump up by a bunch, then lose in a devastating fashion. It'll be close.
Love Buffalo in this game.
I like the Chargers. There's one thing I want to say on the way out. Last week, I got really mad as the numbers were pointed out to me. I think it was Robert Mays at The Athletic. I could be wrong. I know Warren Sharp is constant on it. How embarrassing the Chargers' early down running stats are this year. And it was like, Lynn is like, are they trying to just protect the rookie? But in theory, they're not protecting the rookie because they're not good at running the ball.
And he's like
so
second
therefore,
and
they're
12.
just setting him back to have harder third downs. Obvious passing situations.
Practice.
And that really frustrated me. And against the Jets, just how the Jets are a high pressure team that will give you opportunities to pass. I knew that would change. So it obviously changed a lot last week, and the Chargers passed a ton on first down. Now here's my point. Because someone's like, I really like the Chargers this week because of the Buffalo secondary things and the trending upward first down passing that they expect to continue for the Chargers. My point is, A, Lynn is an idiot, so don't expect anything. But B, did sort of like how maybe seeing the success Tua and Burrow and Herbert had on them just wanting to put Tua on the football field, did what happened to Burrow potentially scare straight the Charger brass in that, yeah, the math says we shouldn't be doing this running, but we just need this guy on a drop back count. Because it's not like our offensive line is great, and we got to. I know you're like saying like probably not, but am I crazy?
I think that's pretty crazy. Like
I told you if strange shit just goes here.
If that is the case, and they're actually worried about that, he's not playing. It's a football play.
Yeah,
get hurt
it's not like when
moment.
Steven Strasburg missed the playoffs.
But everyone wrote, and I know people aren't writing this, but everyone literally wrote in every piece of glowing thing that we saw with Joe Burrow, audio, video, podcast, like he was getting lit the fuck up every game. Every game. I remember last week, every game my group chat's like, oh, Burrow. Like, we thought he was dead last week. I don't know if you remember the
There was the
play.
Philly game, too, where I thought he was dead.
Like, someone like a carrier pigeon lets me know Burrow just died. And every time he got up. And this time they started chiming in, and it's horrific. My heart breaks for him. Obviously, I'm happy. I'm excited
Ecstatic
about a bet.
is the word that you're
cut
looking
that
for.
clip. Cut that clip.
No, you can cut it all you want. I have a bet. It's like a golfer hitting it in the water tied. Your biggest competition.
If your boy Ricky Fowler was trying to chase down your outright winning bet, he put it in the water. You'd be happy. He put it in the water.
No, but I never put a
tripped
fandom
and face planted and had to withdraw.
But I never put a
what it is.
fandom of mine on Joe Burrow like I did Fowler. I really like Joe Burrow. I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah, we've been
Everybody.
over this. Let's.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But I'm happy that I'm now a prohibitive favorite in something. But so you think I'm like, just don't worry about that at all.
No. Yeah. Either he doesn't play or he plays. And what the hits and harassment that Burrow took this year is no different than like fucking what Deshaun Watson has undergone this year.
You're probably right to a certain extent.
Although that offensive line has been protecting him a lot better the past few weeks. So maybe that there was a assumption as the season went along, and maybe you got some guys back, that the Bengals offensive line. And it's not like he was taking a bunch of sacks every game. It's just when he got hit, he got absolutely fucking blindsided.
Yeah. And in absolute conclusion on this game, I do think Lynn will call it to win, even though that's probably a bad thing because he's an idiot. Obviously, the Bills made an excellent coach in their coaching hire. But I don't even think they interviewed him, and he was like their OC. So he still was kind of turned about that. So with the Pagulas, no, I just think he might take something personal. But again, on the Bills, they always didn't interview him or give him like more than a 10-minute conversation for a reason. They're right about that. They made an excellent coaching hire, but just the human nature of it, these guys are wired like that.
I got Buffalo to win by 3, so if the Chargers cover. The Chargers will find, like I said, a way to backdoor this game if Buffalo gets up by too much, or they'll just lose in devastating fashion. Tennessee and Indianapolis, which is probably the game of the day until we get to later on, at least of this first set of games. Colts are favored by 3.5. 51 is the over-under. The Colts just always beat them. I don't get it.
We'll tease up the Titan here.
You like Les Titans?
I like Les Titans quite a bit in this spot, actually. They showed me something last week, bouncing back and going into Baltimore and getting a W and really showing some life and some verve. And I think that they're embarrassed at how they performed against Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. I think that coaching staff is really embarrassed about how they performed. Indianapolis very charmedly managed to get past Green Bay, and that was great. I kind of thought they would. I expect Tennessee to rough them up. I like the Titans to win outright. I like them against the number. I think the Titans, as much I don't know how much we could take away from that Thursday game because I think we maybe talked about it last week. After a couple of special teams things sort of went off the rails for the Titans, like they just couldn't get that train back on the tracks. I expect that not to happen this time. I expect the Titans to win and win the game. I think the Titans, even though the numbers say the Colts are a better team, and I get it because the Colts defense is top shelf. I kind of think the Titans will be able to run the ball. And I think, anyway, I like them in the game. I think it's a good revenge spot.
I think this is a spot where Tennessee has to come out and run a bunch of play action early. We just even saw it in the Baltimore game that every time like, Henry eventually got to them and broke out the big runs at the end, but that's what he does. Using Derrick Henry as essentially a decoy at the beginning of the game is the most effective thing you can do because everyone bites on it because they're so afraid of him running for 80 yards that you can just go over the top if that's possible. If they don't do that, It's going to be tough. It just doesn't this feel like Indy by 3? I know you love Indy.
No, he just hates the Titans. Is a difference.
I don't listen.
I'm taking Tennessee plus 3.5.
You want to talk about friend division? How would it be for Phillip Rivers to sweep Le Titan? Woo!
Are the Colts the ultimate bet against team in the playoffs when they're like the 3 seed and have to play the Raiders?
Phillip Rivers is gonna sweep the Titan. Find me a place. The Colts aren't probably better than Le Titan. Find me a place the Colts don't match up perfectly against Le Titan. I think they win
isn't nearly as good.
I think they match up perfectly. Darius Leonard's on this field. Colts. They can make plays now, apparently. The Colts offense once in a while. Phillip loves the moment he trusts like that big, tall, wide receiver. It is on now. You want to own Pittman. I'm telling you right now, he's going to get his looks. Could be a super lock.
That's the thing. They had, besides Pittman, they got no one else.
Yeah, but that's like whatever. They still get it done, and it shows you how good Rivers is. And you seem to think Brissett would be 7-3, and I think you're dead effing wrong.
It might be a 10-0 with Brissett
Dead wrong.
because Phillip sucks.
Phillip had some bad games, but we are up Chuck Kumalooing right now.
I meant to ask you in that Bills game because they do not defend the slot receiver at all. Over under 13.5 targets for Keenan Allen.
Over.
Like that seems like
Yeah,
a reasonable line, right?
Yeah, I would play over as well. And he loves Keenan.
Yeah, he loves Keenan, and that's where you attack the Bills.
But when you see him throwing to Keenan, it's not like it's like, whoa, he just threw to triple coverage.
No, Allen's open most of the time. He
And
always throws to him.
Yeah, but there's also those great like QB behind angle throws, guys. That Allen's like not even in.
You realize if you watch the like all 22 of every game that you would see this stuff with other teams too. It's not just the Chargers and Keenan Allen who get open.
I understand that. Oh, you don't think there's a few other games I watch all 22 on just to see what's up?
Oh, let us know. Which ones did you watch last week?
We know. We all know which one. And we all enjoyed it too.
You hate watch stuff, don't you? For your own
I can
enjoyment.
appreciate that. I hate watch things
Jeff,
all the time.
Jeff told me before we came on that he did it for the Burrow injury and watched it from every angle and laughed and ate
If you
popcorn.
actually know, I wouldn't watch that stuff. I don't even like seeing Homer Simpson fall down the Springfield Gorge. I don't like any of that stuff. It makes me all queasy. Even in like Game of Thrones, I just close my eyes and pretend.
Not as bad as when Homer got punched over top of that fire hydrant.
Oh yeah, that sound effect was brutal. Carolina and Minnesota. Minnesota's a 4-point favorite at home. 48.5 is the over-under. I'd expect Teddy B back for this game. McCaffrey is leaning towards not playing, but he could play by the time it comes. I think it's a nice spot to get back on Minnesota at home. I'm going to take Minnesota -4 coming off an embarrassing loss and knocking Tim out of Survivor.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You kind of just, it's easy.
So am
this
I.
was an easy one.
Oh, and the coin too. So
I actually hope this line, could this line get shorter as people just like Carolina? They're off a great win. I wouldn't go to great win. But
I would say that I don't imagine this game has a whole lot of betting interest in it.
It's an NFL game.
Not all NFL games are created equally.
That's true.
A lot like the Giants and Cincinnati game. Like
no, but we think people are going to bet that game. People are going to blindly just crush the Giants.
Potentially so. Yeah, you're right. This feels like a game where no one's going to have a super strong opinion on it. Listen.
Is this a revenge game for Teddy? Has he played Minnesota yet? Probably not.
Maybe not. In New Orleans, maybe. I really don't know. But
unlikely.
Did he play against the Vikings when he was in the Jets preseason, Tim?
I don't think so. We usually don't play the Vikings in preseason.
No,
I mean, I don't know.
Who's quarterback?
You're right. My natural inclination is to pick the Panthers because I hate the Vikings after what they did to me. But I also know that the right way to play this is to play the Panthers, or the Vikings. So that's what I'm taking.
I liked PJ Walker in that game, but he made some horrendous throws. Like the second pick that he threw was to no one. It was to the other team in the end zone. Like it was. I couldn't believe it. He thought that DJ Moore had go gadget arms. He could just extend 11 feet into the air.
So it's a round of Vikings?
Round of Vikings, coin included. Which gets us to the midway. I got someone to run the numbers on that, and it's not as bad as we think it is when we all pick the same game. It's like 42% or something. It's not good, but I mean, we pick around 42% anyway, so it's right on average for us. Midway point of the show, which means it's time for Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
not what people are calling it.
Tim, you got a tug at the Nordic Spa. Tell us about it.
Okay, so no, that is not what happens at these spas. You people are just filthy minded. I had such a fantastic time at this spa. So it's like an hour or so outside of the city, and it was a beautiful day. Like, we're talking 16 degrees and sunny. For this time of year, you can't ask for better.
It is good weather.
I walked about with just my bathing suit and a towel. I had gotten one of the add-ons you get is you can get a bathrobe, which I got, didn't even need it. Didn't feel bad about it that I didn't need it. Anyway, so you get there and there's all these different saunas and spas that you get to try out. And it was just, it was fantastic. There was a Scandinavian sauna and there was a Russian sauna. Then there was this thing called hammam, which people may know of, a hammam, where there are these steam rooms that you go in that are scented, and then you leave and you scrub your body down with these various salts and oils, and then you shower off and you go back and you do it multiple times. So I did that many, many times. There are hot and cold pools with waterfalls to cool you down. That was very good for my skin, I thought. But at one point, I was lounging in the hot pool, and adjacent to me is the yurt where sort of the restaurant is for food and everything. And in the middle of it, they have a fireplace, and then jutting out of the top is like a steel chimney. And I'm sort of like recovering in one of the hot pools, and I look up, and I see the chimney, and I think it's interesting, and I kind of want to look at the building more because like it looks strange. So I get out of the hot pool, I towel off, I start walking towards that yurt, and as I'm walking right by, out of the chimney blasts out like bark or embers or something and land right on top of the yurt. And I was like, that is not supposed to happen. That is very strange. And immediately they were on top of it pretty much to clear that off because that could cause a fire or something. Well, what happened is I guess it had never happened before, but I guess it was something to do with the flue inside that hadn't been cleaned out or something, that this bark flew out the chimney and almost set the restaurant yurt on fire, and it was closed the rest of the day. You could order at the front door of that yurt, but you really couldn't go inside of it. So anyway, that
tent,
like a Nordic tent, right? Like sort of a tent. So then I just kept on walking to check if there's a barrel sauna, which I liked quite a bit. There was hammocks. I fell asleep in a hammock. Had a great nap along the lake.
Well, Tim, did you know that there's a place called Mary Ann's Hammocks? And the good part is that Mary Ann will get in the hammock with you.
Yeah, I mean, I had trouble getting out of the hammock. I may have face planted getting out of the hammock.
Is there a video of this? Like, do they have security cameras?
No, there would be no video of this, I'm sure. But I got into the hammock fine and lounged and then woke up after a very brief nap. And then I sort of slid sideways off it and kind of face planted. But it was so good. But one of the rules there was that you had to be quiet. And silent, and that's fine with me. I was in one of the saunas, and there was this younger fella, and he was talking to, I guess, his girlfriend. He kept talking and talking. And I didn't say anything, but I was annoyed. The lady next to me at one point, she shushed him, and he said, oh, okay. Like 30 seconds later, he started talking again. Well, I'd had enough. I leaned over and said, you know what? Can you please? And he looked at me and said, oh, I'm so baked. I didn't even know I was talking. I went, what are you doing here? I got up and left. I was very annoyed by that. I was like, really? You know, this is a sauna where you're supposed to get right and relax and, you know, really? And so you're just going to light up before you come in here? Like, that seems to, like, drive against the whole self-care approach to what this thing is supposed to be. I didn't care. I didn't care for that.
I don't smoke weed anymore, but I feel like I would before going into, like, a sauna in my sauna yurt for whatever the hell you're doing. Did it cost more than the $50 than you thought it was going to cost?
I spent a little bit more, but not a whole lot more. They also had these buckets that keep refilling full of ice cold water that you could douse on yourself whenever you wanted.
And you didn't even take a chance to honor the guy who died who created the ice bucket challenge, did you?
Oh my goodness.
He died this week.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
I thought you were up on things. Did C100
I
not tell
wasn't
you?
aware of that. But anyway, the buckets that you can use, again, I got in the hot and the cold lots of times. It was great for my skin. I felt so relaxed when I left, despite people, you know, mouthing off. One of my favorite things, and I have to say this, and I wrote this down because I loved it. So in the hammam, in one of the steam rooms, there's a eucalyptus steam room and an orange one. So I'm in the orange one. And there's this recording that kept playing, which was so awesome. It just kept saying,
Tim
"You are
Andergast.
great." No, it kept saying, "You are great. You are good. You deserve credit. You are kind to yourself. You are great." I was like, yes, I am. Thank you. It was like being given affirmation on this recording. It's like, you deserve self-care. You deserve to be kind to yourself. You're a good person. I was like, yes, thank you. I am. It felt so good to be able to like hear that over and over again while you're just breathing deeply in the steam. It was very affirmative. And I was like, yes, thank you. This is like the rejuvenation I needed for the soul. So it was a great experience. If you can be hooked on going to spas, I am, and I'm going to go back when I can, when it's safe to do so, and I very much look forward to it.
You could make this. I mean, I got so many questions, but
Paul had a question, it seemed.
TC, have you ever smoked weed?
It's not something that I enjoy.
What about an edible?
Have you smoked it before, though? You didn't answer, really.
I have tried. I have.
Okay.
I have tried it.
He
in the
didn't
past.
I was
inhale.
going to say,
I
as
don't
a
care for-
self-proclaimed man of the people, if he hadn't
I've tried it
smoked
in the
weed
past,
then
and I don't
casting
particularly
judgment
care.
over it.
I don't particularly care for it.
You got.
I've done
If
it
I
on
was
the
at
odd
a spa, I mean, I like to indulge anyway. But
What?
if I was at a spa,
No one believes you, Geoff.
if I was at a
No
spa,
way.
I would like. Let's just say it's
Get
like 10
really
minutes
stoned.
to kick off of a big game. That's how I would probably want to be for my spa experience.
It'd be like UFC cards for me. We're
It'd be
just
like the
going
time that
in
happened to
between
me
every
before
fight.
the Notre Dame Alabama national championship game, and I didn't even remember. Like I smoked an entire J to myself. I didn't know any better.
But
And
you-
like I would blink and I'd say, "How is it third down already?" He's like, "Dude, you watched first and second down." I was like, "I did."
was this your first and only time?
It was like the
No,
second time.
no, but it was one of my first.
He lost a bet.
Oh, so he had to.
So he
smoke.
had
I'm like,
to smoke
why
an
is he
entire gram joint to himself.
Oh, I wish. Oh, that's so good. You guys must have been cheering for him to lose that bet, like as much.
But
as
honestly, Notre
any
Dame lost
money
the
could-
national championship game, and I didn't feel bad about it.
There you go. Using drugs to cope, Tim.
But anyway, you had people had questions, so I'm all ears.
It was just Geoff who had questions.
Oh,
really.
I was gonna say, you could just turn this into like a new shtick, like going to spas all over the world.
Yeah, he could
dare
be-
I say?
He could be Tim Anderyurt.
I saw somebody say that, and I find that very funny. It was just I found this place to be so relaxing. Then I got to get pizza at the end, and that was great too.
What was on this pizza, Tim?
It had cheese,
Mm-hmm.
bacon,
Mm-hmm.
salami,
Mhm.
and has wieners.
It was so
And it's
low
excellent.
grade.
It's so excellent. It's the best in the
Wieners.
province,
Eating wieners,
It's-
Tim. No one
and a
loves
unique sauce.
No one loves eating wieners more than Tim does. Tim Anderyurt.
Anyway, this spa was so restorative for the soul. And I could just go back just for the hammam part, again, just for like the positive reinforcement in the words.
You can just
It was like it's like the machine was
You just
speaking
buy
to
a
me.
tape.
or you can just get it on Spotify.
Maybe, but it was just like being told, like, you are good. You deserve credit. You deserve to be kind to yourself. And I was like, yes, I do.
Do you
I loved
want to? I just looked some stuff up. A positive affirmation playlist, 10 hours. Let's see what.
Don't you get this?
Language is very important.
That's not.
How you talk to yourself.
Don't you get this affirmation from living your own truth on the internet, though?
I don't live my own truth. It was just, I don't know.
Authentically me.
That's what it sounded like.
It did sound similar to that sort of like
The
that
universe
weird
is
music.
divinely guiding me.
One point they told me I was made of starlight. And I was like, yeah, like that Crosby, Stills, and Nash song.
I am enough.
Yes, I am enough. That's the side of stuff that I found to be so, like rejuvenating. Like, believe it or not, the internet can be a very negative place for me when I encounter it.
No.
And so it was very nice to just like leave my phone in the locker, which also was this neat little gizmo where you just wipe your bracelet that they give you, and like it automatically opens and closes. It was very, very high tech. Like just
Like
leave
a
my phone and
hotel
everything
key.
in there for a while. I loved it. I loved it. I'm so glad I did it.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. You don't get to do enough fun stuff. This sounds like it was very fun for you. And Tim, you are a winner of the galaxy.
You're enough, Tim. You're enough.
You should just hang out with fucking Stuart Smalley.
Thank you. It was.
Even not just the internet, but even your like personal group chats seem pretty toxic towards you. So it's nice to go get that positive reinforcement. Like you're dodging ninja stars all day long. It seems.
I had to put this podcast
chat.
on pause when you guys were talking about your analytics. I had to put it on hold, on mute, because somebody called me to yell at me
About what?
about how dare I say mean things about Tua last week on the yesterday on the podcast.
Who, your dad?
No.
Well,
He just listened to the
it was like when he went out to it was our friend's birthday. They were allowed to go out. It was before like the restrictions. He goes out, has a beautiful steak dinner, and all people do the entire time is yell at him over a fantasy trade he made.
Yeah, exactly. And then he killed Joe Burrow. He's taking heat for that all week.
As he should.
So the spa was very relaxed.
So you've killed Joe Burrow and Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I don't take responsibility for any of this.
Well, the people will decide at the Custies, and
Honestly, there won't be any material for this year's Custy Award,
None.
so-called. I don't think there'll be much.
By the way, if you want to find that playlist, Tim, I just typed in affirmation into Spotify and it gave me 10 hours of positive reinforcement.
That would be nice.
You don't even have to watch it on the YouTubes. And you don't have to listen to C100 for it. New Orleans and Denver. Denver tap coming off a big victory. Now 6-point dogs at home. 43.5 is the over-under. I like the Saints. I don't feel great about it. Like I do feel great about it. Then that leads me to believe like, Pat, you're never right. That's a problem. So what's going to happen here? But like, don't the Saints just blow out Denver? How's Denver going to score points here?
This could be my super lock. I like a very like-minded here, Pat. I think Denver is very flawed. I think with Taysom Hill and the strong Saints defense, hopefully Lattimore plays. But I think they'll cause a lot of problems for Drew Lock in Denver.
That's the whole thing.
And I think they'll be able to stay on schedule with the offense and be fine. So give me New Orleans. I like this game a lot.
And if New Orleans falls behind, they can just turn to Jameis.
I'm going to wag an admonitory finger at you both and take Denver. I think this is a very trappy type of game.
It feels that way.
Well, Denver did you the solid of getting to a bench, so now you just love them, I'm sure.
Just outdoors, people saw the Saints win a game. The world was sort of off New Orleans a little bit last week and kind of liked the Falcons in that spot, and then the Saints took care of business without trouble, despite people not liking them. Now they're like, oh, yeah, the Saints, okay, they're fine. They're fine with Taysom Hill, and the Broncos still have a pretty darn good defense. I think that's a lot of points. If this game finished up 17-13 for New Orleans, that wouldn't shock me in the least. So I'm going to play Denver.
But I don't think the Denver defense can force a Taysom Hill-led team into the type of situations that it would against, dare I say,
can just hit
normal offense.
If they could hit Tua, they'll be able to hit him too.
No, I mean, the Saints have the best offensive line in the league, so that's a lot different.
Saints run...
And the Saints don't really drop back and pass. They just kind of run all the time.
And all their passes are quick and run like...
17-14, I do think, is in play. Or 17-13, whatever Tim said. But I think that's like the optimal outcome for Denver in trying to cover this spread. Like
24-11
New Orleans defense has looked fucking incredible the past 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't even have Lattimore last week.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't make a difference. Now they get Drew Lock, who, as he said, when the ball leaves his hands, only about 50% of the time he knows where it's going. Hot quote for Tim's MVP pick.
Dark horse. It was my actual pick.
Oh. So I like New Orleans here. Feels like a grinded out 20-10 game to me. San Francisco at the Rams? Tim, your Rams beating up on your poor Bucks. Now the Rams are favored by 7. 45 is the over-under. And
Rams
they're
are
at
the best
home.
team in that division.
I got to admit, I think I was kind of bullish on Pittsburgh. I didn't pick them to be nearly as good as you, but I wasn't one of these people like
Tim saying they were going to have the first pick.
They're not even close. Well, that's crazy. But I wasn't anything of this. I was like, you cannot count them out, because if they do half of what they did last year with median QB play, they're going to be really good. Let alone Roethlisberger's been like top 10 quarterback play, and they're being great. Makes sense to me. The Rams, another team. Well, I wasn't wrong about Pittsburgh. Dead wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. You got to admit when you're wrong. When I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Wrong about the Rams.
Hey, we have the under on 9.5 wins for the Rams.
Yeah, okay, fine. But I'm just saying they've really impressed me this year. McVay, in my opinion, has done just as good of a job this year as he did when he was like Das Wonder kidding up everybody. Last night we saw a coach that knew what he was doing versus stubborn one, unwilling to sort of make adjustments.
And they still almost lost.
Yeah, but that's because the refs and some real stupid. That game wasn't
Aren't you
as
worried?
close as.
Aren't you
that
worried
game
though that
wasn't
the
as close
49ers
as the score? I am
Aren't you worried
worried.
that the 49ers have so many defensive injuries that maybe he won't be able to name everyone who starts on that defense right now?
He'd know.
But I just really like. I really like all the things that have gone on with the Rams, despite maybe being tied to some things on a contract standpoint. Although, as everyone jokes, every time they sign someone else, it seems like they have no rules. Good for them. I do think this game is close, though. Monday night, big win. I think the Rams win. I just think this game is close.
You're
I
on
still
the same
think
page
I'm
as
wrong.
me.
I still think I'm wrong. I was wrong about how I assessed the Rams in the preseason. This game's going to be close. Rams, 49ers off a bye. Big win for the Monday Nighters and the Rams. Close game Sunday.
Yeah, I got the Niners too. The coin is taking the Rams. Yeah, a bye week. I don't know who's playing quarterback for San Francisco. So that's a problem.
I don't even like.
Or does it matter?
I just think it's going to be close.
But they're going to get Mostert back. They're going to get. I think Trent Williams actually went on.
Is Ayuk though? Because there's COVID. I know.
Ayuk and Debo are both going to be back. The running backs are going to be back for this game. Trent Williams might be out because of a COVID situation. He may or may not play. And I don't know who's playing quarterback. But I think Richard Sherman might be back for this game too. Like they're getting.
I'm teasing.
They're not getting
teasing the Rams
Bosa
down.
back, but almost everyone else I think is back. You're teasing up the Rams? Or teasing down the Rams?
Yeah, I'm going to tease the Rams down. I don't have a ton of confidence in their side to cover that full number, but I think they're going to win the football game. So I'm going to tease them down, and I'll take them -7, but not with much confidence in that part.
All right. Game of the week. For America's game of the week, Jeff.
It is. It is.
Watch
I think it's CBS's game of the week.
I might super lock this game.
Really? Because Kansas City at Tampa Bay 3.5 is what the Bucks are underdogs at home. 56 is the over/under. I like the Bucks. Plus 3.5 at home, coming off a game everyone watched. Maybe because it's at 4 o'clock. Are you buying this Tom Brady bedtime thing?
No.
No,
He's
but
lost
it's
Kirk
true.
Cousins, like it's Kirk Cousins.
But it is
flex,
true
or
he's
what are we
played
talking
poorly in primetime. It is true he's played poorly.
he goes-
Because he
in primetime.
plays good teams in prime time. He plays Carolina Sunday at 1 o'clock. What do you think happens here, people?
That's a fair point.
What do you think this is?
I mean, number one offense, number one defense. That's what you got here. So
Yeah.
to me, I think those two are washes, and you have to ask yourself, okay, so what is the Chiefs D versus the Bucks O? Bucks have a better offense than the Chiefs have defense. So you're going to give me 3.5 points in that circumstance. And the Chiefs proved what they needed to prove against the division rival last week. I'm going to go with the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks. The coin's taking the Bucks. It just Kansas City doesn't. I don't feel like they care if they win. This
I
game.
think this one
You
they
don't need
care
it.
about. I think this one.
If this game
they
was
do
put it
care
this way,
about.
if this game was the Super Bowl and it was 3.5, I would take Kansas City. It's not.
Also, this is my Super Bowl prediction.
It is.
Kansas City can get up a couple scores and then they're so stubborn. They don't do motion. They had 6 plays of like 66 snaps yesterday in motion, this Tampa Bay team. They got a record. They'll go to the playoffs and I'll fear them. But I think they're so.
Are they in danger of missing the playoffs?
I
yet?
don't
like
think
if
the
things
NFC's
break
good
really
enough.
wrong.
I
for
don't
them?
think the NFC's good enough.
No, well,
I don't think the
Chicago would have to
NFC's
chase
good
them down,
enough.
I think. Who else can really chase them down? The
Minnesota.
Bears.
or
Minnesota
Detroit.
losing was
Yeah.
bad for that.
Minnesota. I mean, the
aspect.
Niners. I guess if the Niners catch lightning in a bottle, maybe they could chase them down. Maybe I don't think so. I think the Bucks are in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
And the Bucks really need to figure their shit out right now because they're currently the 6th seed, and the optimal place to be if you're not the 1 seed in the NFC is being the 5 seed.
It seemed like they just want to force the ball downfield.
and Brady can't make
Brady's
throws.
not able to make it.
The guys are open.
I don't think people can say whatever they want. They're force feeding. He's force feeding his friend or this guy he demanded they sign in Antonio Brown. I think it's hard enough to build chemistry as is in this year. So adding Brown to the mix was, in my opinion, a mistake when he should have just been building more chemistry with other football players on that team, like Shelby Miller, what have you. I don't like what's happening.
Scotty Miller. Shelby Miller's a pitcher.
I'm surprised you knew that.
Pitches for the
Yeah,
Braves.
he was back when I covered baseball. He was playing. I can remember people from 2014.
I think this is the sort of game that
You like
Kansas City just wins and they get over the number. And maybe they, I don't love it. This start kind of Super Bowl. I have kind of Super Luck. I have kind of been talked off that. But I trust Kansas City to win this game, and maybe I get backdoored. But
yeah, and they need to keep pace with Pittsburgh as well. Kansas City.
yeah, I think Pittsburgh can lose on Thursday, which makes it a bigger game for the Chiefs. I mean, it's still at the point where they're all, I mean, even if Pittsburgh wins, it's big because they got to keep pace.
Yeah.
I could argue losing makes it less big for the Chiefs.
I would tend to agree with that,
Actually, now that I'm
but the problem is, like, the Bucks need the 5. Like, the Bucks are really playing for this 5 seed because then you get the NFC East winner.
I guess. But
Have
they
the
to
Bucks
win
beaten
today
a
in the
good
playoffs.
team?
I don't know. I can effort that. Let's see. They have beaten the Panthers twice,
The Chargers.
the Giants, the Chargers, the Raiders. They beat the Packers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They crushed the Packers too.
And they beat the Broncos. So they've lost the Saints, the Bears, the Saints, and the Rams. So
Those are good losses.
but those are all teams. I mean,
the Chiefs are better. Like the Chiefs are the creme de la creme.
but all those teams had good defenses.
Yeah.
yeah, and good defenses. We've seen Mahomes been put off his spot. The Chargers were able to do it. The Raiders, for the most
I like
part, were able to
49ers
do
in the
it.
Super Bowl for 3.5 quarters.
I mean, it's never fun to bet an under when the Chiefs are involved. But 56 seems like a lot of points, doesn't it? I know the game on Monday night went over, but not every game is created equally.
And Monday night, I don't think yesterday's game on a Sunday afternoon goes over. There's something weird on Monday night where I'm happy I didn't bet the under, but I definitely leaned the under in last night's game.
All right,
But
so
there were a lot of touchdowns where I thought field goals were going to happen on Monday.
Tampa Bay for the 3 of us, Kansas City for Geoff. Chicago and Green Bay. Packers are favored by 8.5 at home. 45 is the over-under. I don't know what to make of this game. I can't believe it's a Sunday night game.
Well, it is because it's an ancient rivalry, and the Bears are still a pseudo
It's always a
playoff
primetime
contender.
game.
I know. It's just, this is
Last year it opened the season, I feel. 'Cause
Yeah,
the 100th anniversary
if both of
thing.
those teams are decent, they'll always get
If-
one game.
No, they don't have to be
it
decent.
felt more fun last year. It
It was
doesn't
the
feel,
first game of the.
it doesn't
Well,
feel
the Bears can't score.
I'm
So
taking
I
the
can't- I
Packers.
can't-
I don't
I
care
can't
what
pick
the
them.
number is.
Yeah, Packers
I
coming
have
off
to
a
take
loss
Green Bay.
again.
Yeah.
Are we just playing the zigzag rule with the Packers?
You 100% do that.
I'm with you.
The Bears, their getting into the red zone rate is atrocious.
And we don't know who's playing quarterback for
And
them.
it's not like they have a big playability where it's like, yeah, they don't get in the red zone a lot, but like, look at all those like 25-yard plus touchdowns they score. 0 probably. Packers any number.
Yes, I agree. You
should
can't
tease
play them. We're
them.
teasing
They
the
gotta be
Packers
on your
down.
teaser probably.
Yeah,
right?
we're teasing the Packers down. And yeah, just the Bears can't score. I can't pick them.
Now, if New England, Cleveland, Tennessee, and the Rams all cover their teaser number, money line Bears on Sunday evening with Tim here.
No, I'll probably have the Packers on to end my teaser too, so I'll just try to middle it.
Oh, Fienberg teaser.
I actually already made one starting yesterday.
People love them.
Who
With- with the
gives
Rams and
the
the
Bears a
Chargers.
better chance to win here? Trubisky or Foles?
Trubisky.
I think
Foles
that's the
is
answer.
no good. We've seen it over and
If-
over. Foles
If
can't score.
Trubisky did
He's undefeated
what
this year.
Foles was doing
He was
over
doing.
the last,
he was doing. What
No,
Foles
he's
was
been
doing.
worse. He has been worse.
has been worse.
than Trubisky's worse in this like blip here. He's been worse than Trubisky ever was, in my opinion. They don't.
You have to go to Trubisky. when he's
Foles
healthy.
is special. He's got this like, he's a legend killer, and he's got the big dick Nick and the Super Bowl, and he will go down with like a lure, like a glow.
And he had that Chip Kelly season where he was unstoppable.
in the annals of football history, there'll always be an afterglow on Nick Foles.
He is going
but
to be-
right now. He is
he's terrible.
death on the football field.
So there's two things. One, when we look back like 20 years from now, presuming I'm still alive, we'll see about that. The career of Nick Foles is going to be very hard to explain to someone because they're going to look at his numbers like, this guy is terrible.
But there'll
But
be
he
a
was
halo on him, like as you're reliving it, I believe.
Yeah, but I'm saying for someone who wasn't there, like someone who just almost the same way that we look at like 70s baseball players and look at their numbers. Like, I don't know how good Jim Rice was. I just don't.
Yeah.
But I see the numbers, like it looks like he's fucking Joe Carter, but played longer. Is what it looks like to me. When I look at the
Joe
numbers.
Carter seems like a great analogy if you're like comparing the walk-off World Series hit to the home run, then everything else was like just fine. Although Joe Carter, I think, was an all-star a couple times. I don't think Nick Foles. Well, actually, no, you mentioned that season or two.
But like you look at the numbers, and be like, oh, like he was a 249 hitter. But like, if you were there, you know, he had a game-winning World Series home run. Although you could strike him out. On
I
the
don't know
same
why. I
slot.
always thought he was like Billy Volek to me.
Maybe,
Billy Volek.
But
Billy Volek legit had like 4 good games in his career.
What about Drew Bennett when
He-
he connected them together?
Yeah, he also had 4. That would have been the ultimate DraftKings stack because no one would have bought it the second week or the third week. You would have had the people be like, well, there's no way this can continue. And you'd just be printing money if you played them every single week. But I don't think that the second point to that was I don't think Chicago can go to Trubisky because they want to move on from Trubisky. And if he plays well, they're going to get sucked into signing him.
But they can make the playoffs in theory. Like you got to give your guys one
they
more
had
chance.
such a shorter leash. It's not even fair. It's not even fair. I don't know. I mean, obviously, because Trubisky, when he is bad, it's so much more polarizing because everything him being bad represents when
You're
other
not
guys-
Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. Sucks to be him. It really does.
It sucks. He was overdrafted.
That's not his fault.
Yeah, it's like, is it Ricky Fowler's fault that people wanted to put him in commercials at 20 and make him like a player you knew?
Or Baker Mayfield. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same. Baker Mayfield is Ricky Fowler. They're the same guy.
Except Baker doesn't show up at the green on 18 to celebrate
Yeah,
whoever beat
Baker
him.
won't give. Baker doesn't have the sportsmanship aspect to to just always be there for people that beat him. I would say
Is that?
But that would be a long list.
Baker would resent Josh Allen if they were like buddies.
How do you know?
Just seems like it's in like Josh Allen.
Oh, you're using that psychology minor
No,
again?
I'm joking. I actually have congratulated Baker in my opinion. While there's some issues with some statistical elements of what he does, I believe he's actually growing into a leadership role, which is crucial because he's not going anywhere.
What are you talking about? He's terrible.
Tim doesn't see it.
I don't see
I
a
didn't say he's,
leadership. I see a scared kid who doesn't know what he's doing.
against pressure. The math says he might be the worst quarterback in football.
He panics
with pressure.
It's
immediately.
like him and Goff.
So what does
Yeah.
Darnold see? if-
Nothing. The guy's like locked up in a basement somewhere. Lord knows where that guy
Like
is.
Darnold, he said he panics. It's like Darnold literally sees ghosts. Right?
Documented, national television, told the world, and ESPN let us hear it.
Yeah, this is going to be, you want to talk about like the squarest game of the week? Tim was right about Green Bay. A lot of money on Green Bay, and I did get bailed out with that push. But it feels like this is going to be hammer down. Lost all your money all day. Let's bet on some Green Bay. What does this number close at? 9.5? Maybe 10, if enough money is on it?
And if it crosses 10, then it can just
Chiefs
keep on
seemed
going.
Square. They didn't cover Sunday night. The Ravens were hyper square, and I was part of that 2 weeks ago on Sunday night. So Sunday night's like a get right.
Vegas gets right.
Or they're doubling. I saw a lot of people saying like that was one of the worst weeks I ever had. I don't know what happened there. We seem to do all right.
Yeah, whenever people have really bad weeks, we tend to have good weeks.
But we have
and,
a
and
lot of
vice
bad-
versa.
yeah, we have-
when people
we're
are like
fine.
on the sharp side of things, like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Oh, I went 14-2 this week. We're 2-14.
Yeah. I just saw a lot of that. People getting there, like saying November's been bad. I guess I haven't been great in November. I finally got off the mat last week, though.
Monday nighter, Seattle at Philly.
Ugh.
5.5. The Eagles are underdogs at home. 51 is the over/under.
Seattle, easy. I don't know. Am I just a square again? Am I just like squaring these last few games?
Why do
But
I keep wanting to take Philadelphia?
Because
I'm
you
just-
want 4 spots in the draft, and you won't allow yourself to acknowledge.
No, it's
that's
not
the
going to matter
only
now. Seattle's
reason.
going to make the play. These losses don't matter because Seattle will make the
Oh,
playoffs.
you're right. It reseeds.
And the draft
Yeah,
position
yeah.
gets So
Sorry.
now that doesn't matter.
They
All
lo-
that matters is like I just can't quit picking the Eagles week after week when I think there's value on them.
I don't
And
see
I
the
think there
value.
is
That's
value
the
on them
thing.
here.
I feel like I'm getting duped, but I don't see any value.
Wilson hasn't looked good in a few weeks. And Philly can pressure the quarterback. Like their defense is still pretty good. Pretty good run defense as well. which is, I mean, Seattle's passing more than expectation, but they still, at heart, really want to run that ball down your throats. Their defense isn't good. Carson Wentz sucks.
He sucks.
seems
and
to.
and we all, I mean, every quarterback, the NFL's such a fun league in the sense that big market, small market, every quarterback is a national player. Starting quarterback.
Except for Jake Loudon.
Sure, but even like look at Minshew. He puts on a mustache, like he's just national. It's just fun. Like that's just what the league does. And Wentz is in that effing cooker right now. Like it is at a peak point for him, probably locally and nationally. The hate is loud. And now you're playing on Monday Night Football where, oh man, like we'll get distracted about how bad Carson Wentz is for a few hours, Thursday through Sunday on Thanksgiving. But next Monday is literally going to be a Carson Wentz, like the Monday night pregames, Pat, that are 4 hours are essentially going to be a 4-hour referendum on Carson Wentz. Are they not? Against this Eagles secondary?
I forgot that Philly almost beat the Ravens a few weeks ago.
But the Ravens.
This is a playoff match, and these two teams played in the playoffs last year.
There's not a way I want to bet on the Eagles. Extra time for the Seahawks. I don't even know if that matters.
I guess here's what you have to think. If you're going to bet Philly to win, how many points do you think that the Seahawks score in this game? Just give me a number. What would you
24.
say? Regardless of what?
No, because it's Monday Night Football, 31.
31?
And I'm adding
24.
3 or 4 to whatever I would say, because Monday just always...
So you say 31. Tim, you say 24?
Yeah.
I wonder what they're scoring per game.
So if the Eagles got to score 26?
Here's what the Eagles have scored so far this year. 17, 19, 23, 25, 29, 28, 21, 9, 17, 17. Like their offense is getting worse. They were better when it was just Fulgham as a receiver. That was it. Everyone was hurt, and it was Wentz and Fulgham. So
whatever, I'll take the Eagles. I don't care. Screw it. Whatever.
The
give
only
me the home
thing
dog.
I like,
Give me
the
the home
only
dog.
redeeming betting quality for me about the Eagles is that it's just the National Football League, and the second like you're nationally dead is when you like Undertaker. Like I could imagine Monday being like a meme night of Undertaker.
Yeah,
gifts
Wentz
of,
5
Wentz,
touchdowns.
Look at Carson Wentz, Undertaker meme, like of popping back up.
So
Not dead.
how do you think this ends up working? That if Green Bay covers, obviously Seattle or Philly wins? Or if Chicago covers or beats Green Bay, then obviously Seattle just smokes
I
Philadelphia.
hate that I feel like I'm just on the really good quarterback square sides of both these primetime games.
That's
But
usually the way to go, isn't
I
it?
don't like these other sides are having so much trouble scoring that I can't even make the case.
It's hip to be squared.
Like we were on the Raiders last week because we're just like, no, their game flow. Like they will. Everyone's like,
No, it's because
the Chiefs, they did laps around the field.
Tim
the Chiefs
finally
are
sold.
angry.
It took him 3 years, but Tim finally sold both of us that the Raiders are good.
Yeah, I guess
They're not as good as the Chiefs, but they're good.
Like I expected
Yeah,
the
that's
Chiefs
right.
to win, but I wanted those points. And all week it was like the Raiders have COVID, and they're angry because the Raiders did like laps, and I'm like, that's fun. But once the ball like kicks off, like on the fourth play, you're not. Doesn't matter anymore. I got it. It's not even a question. Seattle.
I'm going to square out with Seattle, too. I've been bad on Monday nights. Thursdays were usually my Achilles heel in the past. It's been Mondays this year.
Like the game, though. I don't hate the game.
If you want our Thursday picks, if you're watching this before Thanksgiving, tune into the Thanksgiving show. You can find the cheat sheet up at ftmbets.com as well. Super locks for the week. I'm taking the Raiders -3 in Atlanta. Tim, it sounded like you want to take Tennessee.
No, I'm not going to take Tennessee. Goodness me. You know what? It's going to be a free money. Just take the Packers -8.5. Just give it to me. Give me the Packers.
What do we know about the Thielen situation?
That he's on the COVID list. He hasn't tested positive, and he's probably going to end up playing.
Give me the Vikings.
Minnesota -4.
Yeah, bounce back, 84 carries,
Dalvin Cook.
no
yeah.
back door. Yeah.
Tim is 2-9 on the year for his teasers and parlays. He's 8-76 lifetime. He has one outstanding of the time that we recorded this show. If you want to check out Tim's free money teaser, it's in Tuesday's Thanksgiving exclusive show. So, Tim, can you recap your teaser for us this time around?
Absolutely. Connect the Rams, the Browns, the Titans, the Patriots, and the Packers. Take 6 points off. Bet the farm, win 4 more farms.
So it's plus 400?
From the ones you would have already won on. Yes, from the ones you would have already won on Thanksgiving.
We're pressing our Thanksgiving winnings.
We're pressing. We're pressing. This is like we're at the craps table, and I'm pressing because I'm hitting.
And if some miracle he didn't win a teaser on Thanksgiving,
it wasn't a teaser; it was a money line parlay.
We double down on this because what was the word you used for your Thanksgiving? It was a word. Your vernacular was quite impressive there. It's above mine, clearly.
I'm sorry, what?
You were talking when Tim, you were talking about you were bulletproof on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you used a word. It started with a P to explain your track record on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I don't recall what I called myself.
Tim called himself a real pistachio nut.
No, it was a real fancy word.
Pistachio nut.
Pat even cut the clip. What do I?
Paul, you had something to say?
I just enjoy that the Bills are not on his money on his parlay. They're 5.5, so that would have got them to
through 0.
I guess.
That's why they're off there.
That's why they're off.
That's it. That smart move.
Yeah. All right, then maybe I'm not so happy.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. You can watch the Geoff Fienberg Show, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday on FTNDaily.com. You can find this cheat sheet up at FTNBets.com. And as always, patrolling the yurts, getting a yurt beat in, probably, if people will keep it down in there, Tim Undercust!
Tim Undergust.
That's not my name. And again, don't be so foul. That's the...
Tim, I need to send you. My son's gonna have to read the book Everyone Poops. I'm gonna have to send you the book Everyone Beats.
That is not a book.
Tim, why don't you just go to one of those spas? They're just usually on top of like a pizza joint and just light up and as a spa. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that sounds like an incredibly greasy and terrible thing. And if that's awful. That's just awful.
Could you get a tug there though?
I haven't the slightest idea, nor do I want to know. Like, come on, people.
If you're
Nothing
listening
can be
out,
wholesome.
if
Nothing
you're
can be
listening
fun.
out there on Twitter, Tim's too big of a man to admit it, but he wants your tips on where you can go buy a tug. So you send those to
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You people.
You still got that
People
picture,
are-
Paul, of Tim's radio buddies? So here's what I'm going to do for you, Tim. I'm going to set up a meeting between you and your radio best friends. I bet you this guy in the middle, he knows where to get a tug locally.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
telling you, man, he's like stupid-looking Matthew Berry. That's the look.
What if 1 year from now Tim's hosting that show?
I'd be very
after this bit.
very proud of him. He can replace Chuckles here on the left. Tim shaved his head. He could kind of look like that guy. That guy has great teeth.
These are the influencers of the young people. This is what the
young people listen
these
to.
days.
I know you said the girl's name was Melody, so we're gonna say
Listen, Paul.
Jason.
Carl and.
You'll
What do you suppose this guy in the middle?
I'll be
is named?
listening.
know
the
all
hot-
these DJs soon enough, Paul.
I'll no, but I listen to like hot tracks. Like I'm listening to like 92.5 in Toronto. Only the hits. I bet you Melody, JC, and Pete aren't getting my my listenership.
Pistol Pete.
No offense to them. I'm sure they run a great program, but
Melody, Pete, and the Cust coming at you in the mornings with all of the latest contemporary self-motivation tracks. You are great.
I wonder if this will get back to those people.
I hope
at some
so.
point.
They're getting free pub out of this.
You're enough, Tim. You
I
are
am
enough.
enough.
You are.
Thank
You
you.
are enough.
I've had enough of
That's
him.
really like for what women who are just beaten down by their marriage and their kids and like to get that like
I'm going to say this is not gender specific, Geoff. I would say that it just involves anyone who's beaten down by life.
okay, fair. That's was wrong of me. You are enough.
Thank you. It does feel good, Tim. I'm with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
What was your favorite self-affirmation?
But they don't even know you. What if you're really
They don't
lazy
know.
and shit and you're not
Like,
enough?
give me your, just tell me what your favorite single one was. It doesn't matter what your
Oh,
favorite
come
self-affirmation
on.
was,
This is what I
pal.
mean by
You know what you
toxicity.
need to do? Give your fucking head a shake, pal, and send your tug suggestions at Tim on Twitter. Okay? Smash the like.
Please don't
like
do that.
the show, and we will see you next time.
Fat Mayo Experience.
I caught you off guard with that one, huh?
I did. Was the word I used, Jeff, proficient?
No.
Perfunctory.
No.
I'm gonna find it
that
because
doesn't-
Patty Minkai was in one of the preview clips. I probably retweeted it.
What was the name of this pizza place?
Big Red.
Big Reds.
So you
Big
went
Reds.
to a
It's the
spa
best-
and then you chowed down on wiener pizza. Sweet.
Don't call it that.
What, you love eating some ween, man. It's okay.
Big
We
Red.
don't judge on
Let
this
me
show.
look this shit up.
Not that clip.
Is that the clip of me making fun of you about Justin Pervert?
Images.
Oh, maybe it was the one. It might have been that early.
You can text him later. Thank you, Tim.
Oh, not
This-
a problem,
this is
guys.
it.
Talk to y'all soon.
Oh wait, 1 sec.
A teaser this once, or my Pilgrim parlay, as John Wayne would call it. Come on, Pilgrim, you know who I am. The first leg of it is going to be the Texans money line parlay. The only reason why he ever is.
I am safe.
I was safe.
This is it, right here.
Despite the year that
What
he
you're
played,
saying
it
next.
was impossible to lose a teaser. No matter how you play.
It's a food truck, Tim?
I have a penchant.
Oh, a penchant.
Oh, a penchant. A penchant.
Is Big Red's
What's that mean?
food truck?
No, it's not a food truck. It's a standalone restaurant. They have a place in Chester and a place in Lunenburg. And I
What's
went
it
to the
mean?
place in
What's that
Chester.
mean? A penchant?
Chest.
An affinity to.
Yeah, a skill for. Like English people,
Like
the
a
same way, or
special
as
set of
Americans,
skills.
Say
the same way
penchant?
Americans, the same way people say foyer, they would say penchant,
Yeah.
but it's pronounced penchant.
All right, Tim, I'm undoing myself.
All right, Tim.
All right, bye guys.
See
This
you
pizza
next
looks
week.
pretty good, Tim.
So yeah,
It's amazing, Paul.
I hear it's very bad, Paul. My sister-in-law told me that.
Really? I mean, this one picture looks good. I haven't seen any of the wiener pizza though.
Get yourself a wiener pizza is at the point of the show.
I don't know how this teaser loses. Like, where's the downside here?
All right, ready to do
That's
this?
free money. That's free money. That's free money. I don't know how I'm losing here. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. I'm excited to win some free money, Tim.
Oh yeah, I was just like, I don't know if there's something wrong with Vegas that they feel like just dishing out free money to people this week if they're smart, but it's there if you're not a dum dum.
Experience.